A very good morning and welcome to all the dignitaries on the dais and off the dais. Before we start this session, as per the tradition, I would like to request our respected members to have the Shankha Dhwani so that which will mark the beginning of this session. Need to promote value-based universal education system with appropriate components of science and spirituality in higher education system of universities and colleges. Thank you very much. And now I would like to invite, thank you very much for that applaud, the Associate Dean of Faculty of Peace Studies at MIT World Peace University, Professor Dr. Milind Patreji, for the Om meditation.
Very good morning to all of you. Revered Professor Dr. Vishwanath Karad sir, Honorable Dais, all the distinguished guests, students. Swami Vivekananda says that each soul is potentially divine and the goal is to manifest this divinity by either work or worship or psychic control by one, by many or by all and be free. And he further says that the rest of the details are just secondary details. What does he mean is that if through any practice, if we can transcend and become free, that is the ultimate essence of any religion, any spiritual way of life. Here comes the role of the two significant gifts of Bharat to the whole humanity. One is yoga, which is also called as the intangible heritage of the humanity by UNESCO, and another is Om, which is nothing but the primordial sound. Anything, everything, all matter, all energy, all thoughts, anything and everything that exists has the origin in the Shabda Brahma we call as Om. So by meditating upon the Om, Mandukya Upanishad says that we reach to the omniscience. So chanting Om is not merely a religious phenomena as is sometimes wrongly misunderstood. Chanting of the Om transcends us beyond the physical limitations of time and space. But for that we have to experience that stillness. So I request all the august audience, everyone in the audience, on the dais, when the Om meditation will go with the audio, you also chant, you also be a part of that, you partake that reverberance being created into this magnificent hall. And when you transcend, within 2 minutes of the Om also may put you in altogether different realm of consciousness, probably never experienced before. So I request all of you to stop all the activities, settle down. You can settle down, no movements, no talks. Let us close all the doors and windows of our mind. Just come at the center of your own being. Settle, relax, be there. No past, no future. Please come to the state of here and now. I request everyone to close the eyes. And when the music begins of the Om, partake and participate in the chanting. I request audio to be played. Om meditation. keep your eyes closed for 30 seconds. No movement. Just be with yourself. Experience the moment of silence. Okay, thank you so much. You can gently open your eyes, and thank you once again for participating in Om meditation. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for that experience. My friends, promoting a value-based universal education system in universities is now essential for fostering the well-rounded individuals equipped to navigate the complexities of the modern world. In today's rapidly changing environment, an education system that integrates both science and spirituality offers a balanced approach, ensuring that students not only excel academically, but also develop an ethical and moral foundations necessary for a peaceful and sustainable future. A value-based education system is necessarily rooted in science and spirituality that encourages students to question the purpose of their knowledge and how they can apply it for the greater good of humanity. And this is the point of discussion today, where we have honorable dignitaries on the dais. In order to take the session forward, I would like to request my technical team to kindly relay the curtain raiser video.
It is high time that the learned scholars, thinkers, academicians, philosophers, scientists, and men of religion, spirituality should come together to evolve a value-based education system with an appropriate component of science and religion, spirituality to establish and develop a holistic, peace-loving, harmonious global society. Looking at the prevailing disturbing scenarios all over the world, it is imperative that we carry out introspection, search where we have gone wrong, and decide about the measures that can help in setting the things right. The main thrust of education, in addition to providing inputs by way of knowledge and information, should be in developing purity of mind, purity of thought, and purity in every action of life, which are basic for establishing a holistic global society. In this session, we will try to find the best ways to promote value-based universal education system with appropriate components of science and spirituality in higher education system of universities, colleges.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that video and making us understand that what exactly is this session is all about. And now I would like to invite the Honorable Vice Chancellor of MIT World Peace University, Professor Dr. R.M. Chitnisji, to kindly propose the welcome address and introductory remarks. Please put your hands together and welcome with a round of applause the Honorable Vice Chancellor of MITWPU.
Hello. A very good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's great pleasure to give welcome address in this academic session of the 10th World Parliament of Science, Spirituality, Religion and Philosophy. On behalf of Founder President and UNESCO Chair for Human Rights, Democracy, Peace, and the Chief Convener, Mentor, Initiator and Driving Force of this World Parliament, revered Professor Dr. Vishwanath Karad sir, Executive President Rahul Karad sir, and all the trustee members, all dear students, faculty and staff, on behalf of all of you, may I extend a formal welcome to the distinguished guest of this academic session. First and foremost, Honorable Dr. Kiran Kumarji, former Chairman and Head of ISRO, Indian Space Research Organization, who made Chandrayaan to reach on the moon itself. We welcome Dr. Sunil Rai sir, Honorable Chancellor of University of Petroleum Energy Studies, Dehradun. May we welcome Deborah Sawaf, Madam, Founder and CEO of Power of Words Foundation, Los Angeles, United States of America. May we welcome Dr. Sanjay Deshmukh sir, Vice Chancellor of Mumbai University. May we welcome Dr. Brian Green sir, who has come all the way from New York, President of Religious Freedom and Business Foundation, USA. May we welcome Dr. Abhay Narayan Tripathi sir, Honorable Secretary of MPSC and IFS Officer, Government of India. May we welcome Dr. Rajesh Dikshit sir, Honorable Vice Chancellor of Renaissance University, Indore. May we welcome very important person, Dr. Aarti Srivastava Madam, Honorable Professor and Head of Higher and Professional Education, that is National Institute of Educational Planning and Administration, popularly known as NEPA, New Delhi, Government of India. We welcome Honorable Dr. Isaac Madaikarji, a spiritual head and also Head Priest, Rabbi, and Honorary Secretary of Judah Haim Synagogue of New Delhi. Let me see if I have missed anyone. Yeah, okay. Now, let me share with you that this concept is very close to Dr. Karaj sir. And Dr. Karaj sir has conducted this similar session, but it was not a session on value-based education, but it was a one-day, full-length, one-day conference on value-based education in none other than world's best university, University of Oxford, Oxfordshire, London, United Kingdom, just 3 to 4 months back. If you want to be precise, then it was a 19th April morning, 10 a.m. to 19th April evening, around 6 p.m. this conference was closed. This session is part of our 10th edition of 3-day World Parliament of Science, Spirituality, Religion and Philosophy, happening in this beautiful, monumental wonder of the world's largest, the Peace Dome as we call it. Dr. Karad created this particular dome and also initiated concept of World Parliament, and is also organizing the 10th World Parliament in the biggest dome today for all dear students. The central theme of this particular 10th World Parliament is clarion call to entire humanity. Will the world ever see the end of 21st century? And as an attempt to find possible solutions to that concern, this academic session emphasizes need to devise and promote value-based universal education system comprising science, spirituality in higher education system across the world. As I said, this seed thought was put forth by Dr. Vishwanath Karad sir, led to establishment of MIT World Peace University, which strives to impart value-based education, holistic education for life transformation of all of you, for the students to become not only socially responsible global citizens, but become ambassadors of peace and harmony in the world. And further, that noble cause across the world, Dr. Karad sir held a peace conference at a sprawling campus of prestigious University of Oxford, UK in April 2024. Oxford conference received a huge response from distinguished academicians, administrators, policymakers, thinkers, scholars in UK and Europe who wholeheartedly supported the need to establish the universal education system which teaches the students peace, brotherhood, harmony, compassion, equality, ethics, integrated efforts, and honesty do we teach this in engineering, management, or maybe science, commerce, arts, and pharmacy? Probably no. And that's why this session becomes, dear students, very important for you. Spend 1 hour, 10 minutes this session is going to be. And then you will see you have certain road to go ahead, you have certain direction to go ahead in your life. We continue with the formal education on the core subject of specialization chosen by the student, that is you. But at the same time, we must impart extracurricular education to them to inculcate in them the values and virtues of humanity, compassion, universal harmony, brotherhood, unity, diversity, and especially respect all the religions and all the caste. We have Dr. Brian Grimm. Dr. Brian Grimm is a researcher in value-based education between different religions, and he always says that Microsoft and other companies or all the global companies, you have many different religion people coming together, different castes coming together. So his center, which heads this kind of a research in the world, operates from New York and Washington, and then he has a lot of courses developed, how students will start respecting each other when they come from a diverse background, such as diverse religion, diverse caste. The entire distinguished speakers sitting on the dais are well versed and have at least 30 years of experience with them. And Dr. Karad is being octogenarian, more than 6 decades experience in value-based universal education. This session will not be a typical speeches one after another or PowerPoint, but everyone will speak as a part of the panel discussions, and then we will take 3 to 4 questions if any. With this, I once again welcome entire panel, and I thank Dr. Karad sir for guiding us throughout the life, for conducting this type of World Parliament, and especially today's session, which will be headed by Dr. Karad sir only. Thank you very much. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat, Vande Mataram.
Thank you very much, sir. And as Honorable Vice Chancellor sir has just indicated, that this session is not of the format of our regular, where we invite the speakers to talk or give their thoughts from the mic. But in this session, the format is going to be of the panel discussion. So I have a set of questions with me, which I would be asking all of you one after the other, or in random if you want to say a few things. The microphones are set up in front of you on the tables, so if you want to express your thoughts, please go ahead and do so. So with the permission of the chair, I would like to begin this panel discussion. And the first question to all the respected dignitaries would be, what does a value-based universal education system mean to you in the context of higher education? I think Honorable Vice Chancellor, Mumbai University, if you can please take it forward. The question and some of the bullet points are displayed here on the screen, which is according to our understanding of the question. But of course, we would like to have thoughts from the tall personalities on the dais. So the first question is, what does a value-based universal education system mean to you in the context of higher education? Dr. Kiran Kumarji, if you would like to say a few words.
Good morning to all of you, and at the outset I would like to thank Vishwanath Karadji for giving me an opportunity to share some of the thoughts on this. Today, as we see, humanity is building tremendous capability in science and technology, and then it's actually building a capacity of expanding human abilities. When we talk about the human sensors, we have the 5 sensors on the basis of which we take inputs, and we have the 5 actuators on the basis of which we conduct ourselves in this world. But then science and technology is all the time trying to enable us to look beyond our 5 sensors, what you can call as Atindriya Gnana, and similarly in terms of our physical activity, huge systems are being built. But then in the education, what is it that we really need to do? In many ways, what I think is, in the whole process of our current education system, we are taking the individual away from the self and then making the individual become aware of what he or she has got, on the basis of which they can negotiate this world. If this aspect is brought into the education, it's a key thing. See, 24/7, if something is available to every individual, it is the platform which we carry. And then we operate this system in an autopilot mode, and we are the pilots. Pilot being different from the autopilot is the real awareness which spirituality has been trying to tell. But if in today's context of science and education, if we are not able to tell the individual that you are bestowed with these capabilities, you have to make use of it and then negotiate and navigate your life. So the education system should definitely enable the individual to comprehend the basic abilities. Today's artificial intelligence is a replica of our asli intelligence. Human machines are a replica of what physical labor we do. And then computational things. In all this, human being is extending what he is available, what is available to him. But while all this is growing on, we also need to make sure that as a pilot, when he is steering the autopilot, what is it that he needs to do? This is where all our hereditary knowledge and the heritage of this land, which says awareness of the self is the key to understanding the world. And when you say this consciousness is a common entity across the globe, that can be brought in through exposing them to the current technology elements of robotic system. I think there is a way forward.
Right. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for your inputs. Deshmukh ji, if you would like to add a few things to this. It's on, sir. Please go ahead.
Namaskar and good morning, everybody. To begin with, I would like to pay my respects and pranams to Honorable Shri Vishwarajbaug Karad, and thank you very much for the opportunity to be here with all of you. In fact, as per the format of yesterday, I had brought my speech of 9 minutes with me on this particular theme, and I wanted to be very precise so that, we don't exceed time. However, this is a very good idea as to we can have a discussion and bring out our points. Taking the clue from Honorable Shri Kiran Kumar ji, I would like to bring the kind attention of the audience to the fact that we are sitting in such an auspicious place, which is not only giving us a energy to look at things around us, but also the statues of great philosophers, scientists, and human beings. They are all around us, and they themselves are the inspiration. And I'm sure none of them ever separated spirituality from education. The education, as Swami Vivekananda had mentioned, it builds your character, it strengthens your mind, and it makes you stand on your own feet. That is the true meaning of education. Sant Jnaneshwar also, within his very short but very elaborate life of 21 years, gave a message of bringing together the entire humanity, and he wrote a prayer for the entire world to attain peace. And therefore I feel that the value-based education, which is one of the key components of the national education policy, which is looking for the first time at the Indian knowledge systems, the traditions that we have been holding on, but we are not in a position to replicate and implement at the grassroots level, is the key towards attaining a different level where India can take leadership and guide the entire world with the help of spirituality, with the help of empathy, and with the help of wisdom that education is expected to give these three factors. We should be in a position to take lead and guide the world towards eternal peace. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much for those 3 pointers. If I may take this discussion to Dr. Sunil Rai ji, and we would like to understand your thoughts on this important topic.
Value-based education, the need. Before I give my thoughts on the topic, I would first pay my respect to our revered Professor Vishwanath Karad sir for creating this kind of an ecosystem and opportunity for all of us to discuss. This place is called Sant Gyaneshwar World Peace Dome. This is one introduction. I am honored to be sitting next to Professor Vishwanath Karad, who is the biggest Masiha of peace on the earth, who has created this Vastu World Peace Dome. If the headquarters of Christianity is the Vatican City, if the headquarters of Hinduism is Varanasi, the headquarters of the world peace is Sant Gyaneshwar World Peace Dome
Wow, kya baat.
here at Loni.
Kya baat hai. Big round of applause, my friends. A very important thought, Sunil Raiji. Thank you very much for that.
So this is, I will just add. Look at the thought which Sir got it himself, a technologist, a very revered professor of College of Engineering. He realized that education without value base is a high-speed car, very efficient, without steering. It will go anywhere, it will destroy itself and destroy the world. The problem is that if you look around the environment, most of the problems being created are by people who are most educated, who are most wealthy in the world. I don't want to take names, whether it is Ukraine, whether it is Israel. The seat of the problem is that people have not understood what Sir always says, Vasudeva Kutumbakam, or Sarvajan Hitay, Sarvajan Sukhay. The idea of science and technology was to make this world a better place to live in. What good it is if we are going and taking holidays to the space, if our brothers and sisters in Africa don't have food, if there are people suffering. Therefore, the need for values in education is high. And my last comment, we all heard, particularly children at the back, because you are the future of this nation and world. There is something called Moore's Law, Moore's Law of technology. It used to say earlier, every 18 months, the technology becomes double and the cost becomes half. And all the thing goes with it. This is Moore's Law of technology.
True.
Please remember Dr. Vishwanath Karad Law of Peace.
Okay.
Om is equal to MC square. He is the one who thought about it. That basically for peace, science without spirituality is non-science.
Right.
Science, spirituality will generate technology which will work for the world and work for the peace. That, for me, underlines the importance of value-based education.
Thank you very much. Sir, and I think the understanding about the value-based universal education system has been, since the last 4 decades, revered Professor Dr. Vishwanath Karad sir has been discussing it, and we have been taking this thought forward. But I would like to bring in discussion, this particular discussion, our respected invitees all the way from United States, that what is their understanding about value-based universal education system. First and foremost, I would like to request Dr. Brian Grimm if he would like to put his thoughts on the topic. Yeah.
Thank you. First, I would like to mention what an honor it was to have Dr. Karad come to the United States and give us the honor of presenting an honorary doctorate to him at BYU University. It was wonderful to have him share his experience. It was wonderful to have him share his experience with the U.S. students. For me, the most important value both for science, for progress, for education is humility. Humility. Without humility, we cannot admit we don't know something. When we're humble and admit we have more to learn, we can learn.
Right.
So the most important value is humility. And the second value is when you're humble, you are curious. You're curious to learn new values. So if I were to think of the two most important values for education, whether it's primary, secondary, university, or life, is humility, recognizing we don't know everything, and the curiosity to learn from others. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I would like to take the inputs from Deborah Swaff because she is, again, a very unique personality on stage. I would like to share with the friends in the front that she is a big name in the fashion industry today. But the most interesting thing is she's born in Mumbai, she's brought up in Italy, and now her karma bhumi is United States of America. So it's a very beautiful, I would say, life that she has lived. And I would like to understand from her understanding about value-based universal education.
Thank you very much for having me. I'm honored to be, I'm humbled actually to be on the stage with people with so much intellect and understanding of what a value-based, of humility, of science, of philosophy, of the merge of what is so needed right now in the world. Yes, I was born in India and traveled, lived in the Middle East, worked out of Europe, and now I live in the United States. Something that I took with me through my life is my upbringing in India that was based on the Indian spirituality, that was based on teaching emotional intelligence, but through the ancient philosophy of the chakras. I needed this myself, and I realized, being in the West, what was important to me was being able to balance my inner self and my emotions from within with what the world had to offer me, and yet stay grounded, and tried as far as possible to have humility, like you say, that is so important in today's world. I believe emotional intelligence is a need of today in education. Our kids need that when they graduate and go into the workplace. And it has brought me here today because we've developed a program on emotional intelligence that is interactive and that is global.
Thank you very much for that. My friends, it is also very important and pertinent to discuss, and where I would like to take the attention of the respected panel to the second question of this session. Why is it essential to incorporate spirituality alongside science in modern education system? It's a highly debated topic of the country, and understanding about spirituality is unfortunately always related to a religion, and which is not really a fact. But when it is now important that we understand and discuss this topic, that why is it essential, as you can see on the screen, to incorporate spirituality alongside science in modern education system. I think we have a right person sitting on stage, Mr. Isaac Malekar, I think, who will be able to understand the religious side of it, spiritual side of it, and I'm sure he will be able to give us few inputs on the same.
Janani Janmabhumischa Swargadapi Gariyasi. When we talk about the universal value of education and spirituality, I would like to say that Swami Vivekananda ji said, you must recognize the ultimate reality through consciousness. What is spirituality? Spirituality is the process of personal transformation. So it is very essential that we must have the character building. Spirituality means character building. Character has many facets of like honesty, reliability, speaking truth, character building. Most important for the spirituality is the character building. If wealth has gone, nothing has gone. If health has gone, something has gone. But if character is gone, everything is gone. So character building, what we have, only the academic education. We want the holistic education. Education about the human rights. Education how to protect the earth. Because it is the sacred gift of God. So we are not protecting. God has given us this holy gift of earth to protect it. But in the name of the protectors, we are destroying it. So our duty is to protect the earth. And secondly,
But sir, has our education system really understood the meaning of spirituality?
spirituality is through the consciousness. We forgot this. What is spirituality? It is spirituality not dhyanastha bhasna. No. Spirituality means through your consciousness, try to recognize the inner, that happiness. That is very important.
True.
And that is why I always say, God has taught us how to fly in the air like a bird, how to swim under the ocean like a fish. But God, you kindly teach us how to walk on this earth in brotherhood, in peace and kindness. Because most important about spirituality, to recognize what is the kindness, what is love, what is Shama Yachana, forgiveness, what is tolerance, what is humility. Therefore, I always say, Sangachadvam, Samvandadam, Savamanasi Manata.
Wow, thank you very much for that thought. I would like to take this discussion to a person who comes from a background which is typically considered as very dry, analytical and technical, and which is MPSC, where you have to take exams with a very, very dry heart, just declare the results and go ahead. But I would like to take your inputs in this, Abhay Narayan Tripathi ji, because understanding the spirituality and essentiality of it into the education system. What are your thoughts, sir?
Thank you. First, 18 years back, I was secretary.
Please hold it little.
18 years back, I was secretary MPSC. Now, thereafter, several assignment I got, and now retired and working as a arbitral member of arbitral tribunal. So I am extending my thanks to Karad ji and Chitni Sahab, who have given this opportunity to sit here, being a Gandhian. Question is, I am a dry person, but just starting telling everywhere you are getting that sa vidyaya vimuktaye, sa vidyaya vimuktaye, tatra karma yatra na badhnami, sa vidyaya vimuktaye. Now, topic is that Vidya. What is Vidya? There are two types of Vidya, that is Para and Apara Vidya. Whatever Para Vidya, this karma, kausal, skill and karma, that come under the purview of the Para Vidya. Para means, Para is materialistic. And that is second is that Apara Vidya. Apara means spiritualistic. Spiritualistic come whatever we are talking on this way. This is Vidya includes Shiksha, education. Your topic is value-based education. But I am talking about Vidya. Everywhere you are getting the Vidya. Sa Vidya Vimuktaye, Yatra Karmesu Kausalam. So Vidya includes Shiksha. Shiksha means education. Vidya includes knowledge. Shiksha and knowledge. So this Upanishad says, this is a Vakya of the Upanishad, and also get in the Vishnu Puran, that is, you see that, Tatra karma yatra na badhyate, Tatra karma na badhyate, sa vidyaya vimuktaye. You see that, para spiritualistic, this means that we are spiritualistic. Whatever Gyaneshwar ji, only one saint came in, happened in this earth, Gyaneshwar ji, who had associated the Para and Apara, both Vidya. Apara this means whatever this, I am a skilled person, handicrafts, I have the knowledge of engineering, I have the knowledge of the carpentry everywhere. I am a doctor in physics. I am a ISRO chairman of the ISRO. I am working in MPSC. I am working in government. All are coming under the purview of the Aparavidya. Paravidya. So that is why Paravidya, you see that, go through the in detail, that Aparavidya, what is spiritualistic? Spiritualism, that is called our inner culture.
True.
So one very slok I am telling you, just my friend recited slok, Vittam Jatanen Sanrached. Vittam Jatanen Sanrached. Vittam Eticha Yaticha. Vit means character. In the word of Gandhi, if there is no character, knowledge is worthless. So Vittam Jatanen Sanrached. Vittam Et, Vit means earth. Vit means Paravidya, para knowledge, materialistic knowledge. Vittam eticha yaticha. Para knowledge coming or going. But we have to protect our apara knowledge. This means breath. This means character.
Right.
Ak chido vitta chido. If now ending. Just first half of the slok I have recited. Brittam jatnen sanrachet. Character must be protected properly. Character means, since without character, knowledge is worthless.
True.
No knowledge,
True.
without character. This is if without humanity, science is worthless, useless. So that is why Brittam Jatanen Sanrachet, Bittam Eti Chayatya. Bit means dhan. In this, Bit means dhan, finance. But here, we are saying that Bit means Paravidya, para knowledge. Yeah, na? So Bittam Eticha Yaticha. This means that Upanishad said that 2000 years back, Bit coming. This knowledge is coming and going. But breath, you have to protect the breath. So that breath means character.
Right.
So that is why without combination of the character, and this you see that Vidya, everything is useless and worthless.
Absolutely. The
So
combination
this is my view, not my view.
Of course.
View of the Upanishad and Purana and Gandhi.
Right.
That in the modern time, this you see that Gandhi, if you go to the Sevagram, you will get the 7 principles of this Gandhi. This character, without character, knowledge is useless, is a main. You see that is a theme of the Gandhian philosophy.
Yes.
Thank you.
The character is definitely important. And today we have two more important personalities to whom I would like to pose the next important question. We have with us the Professor of Department of Higher and Professional Education, Dr. Aarti Srivastava ji. And we also have Honorable Dr. Rajesh Dikshit ji, Honorable Vice Chancellor of Renaissance University. I would like to take your attention of both of you to the next question, and which is very, very technical, I would say. How can universities practically integrate the components of spirituality without crossing into the religious aspect of it?
Okay, thank you very much for giving me this chance to answer your very important question. How can universities play the pivotal role of integrating spirituality in the knowledge domain? So, in the knowledge domain, when we look at epistemology, that is theory building, we do need to support it with the exology. So the exology will have two parts, the aesthetics and the ethics. The ethics will dominate and say what ought to be, and what ought to be will be guided by the value-based system. So for planning for higher education, we have a tool which has been highlighted in NEP 2020, which is talking about institutional development plan. So when we plan for higher education, we plan for the institution. So the institutional development plan, in that we have to integrate this whole section of spirituality along with the courses. Just the way we have done for outcome-based education, we also need to have, we also need to integrate it in the mainstream, in the genetics of the curriculum to say what is the spiritual. So the axiology will prevail, the value education will prevail, where it will be embedded in the psyche of the student of what to do and what not to do. So both the things, he will be able to decide and it will prevail. So many of the things that come because of the dominance of wealth and are being, dominated by being prosperous through only wealth will be cut short. We will be able to say that we are prosperous when we have done things in the right way, which are good for the family, society, the planet, and our own selves. Because the more the education we see that, we are harming the planet, the families are breaking down, while individually we are, things like depression, mental well-being are more, coming into the mainframe. So all these things can be avoided by having deep roots in the spirituality through the integration in the institutional development plan.
Thank you very much. That was a very precise and I would say the path that we can actually take. I would like to bring in and understand the, I would say, perspective of Dr. Rajesh Dixit ji. If you can please tell us your thoughts on this particular point.
थैंक यू सर। मैडम ने एक वो ज़मीन खड़ी कर दी है जिसके आगे मैं अपनी बात रखना चाहता था। आदरणीय विश्वनाथ कराड़ सर को चरण स्पर्श करते हुए और डॉक्टर चिटनी सर को थैंक यू कहते हुए मैं अपनी उन दुस्साहस और धृष्टताओं के लिए पहले से ही माफ़ी मांग लूँ जो कि मैं अपनी बात रखते हुए करना चाहता हूँ। देखिए, जॉन कीट्स ने एक बात कही है, ट्रूथ इज़ ब्यूटी, ब्यूटी इज़ ट्रूथ, and that is all you need to earth. हम उन मूल्यों को स्थापित करना चाहते हैं जो हमने अलग अलग क्षेत्रों में, अलग अलग भौगोलिक परिस्थितियों में, अलग अलग संरचनाओं में खड़े होकर बनाए हैं। और ये माफ़ कीजिए मुझे ये कहते हुए कि वैल्यू बेस्ड एजुकेशन की जब हम बात करते हैं तो क्या हमने सबसे पहले वो मूल्य स्थापित कर लिए हैं जो यूनिवर्सल हों, और अगर उनकी स्थापना हमने कर ली हो तो क्या हमने अपनी एजुकेशन पॉलिसी में उन मूल्यों को पढ़ाने वाले टीचर्स को प्रतिस्थापित कर दिया है? टीचर्स ट्रेनिंग की बात हमेशा कही जाती है। अपनी बात में एक छोटी सी घटना से रखना चाहूँगा। हमने अपनी यूनिवर्सिटी में एक आईआईएम के प्रोफेसर को एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप के लिए व्याख्यान के लिए आयोजित किया। वो आए, हमने उनका स्वागत किया और अपने स्टूडेंट को ये कहा कि एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप सीखने की चीज़ है, सैद्धांतिक चीज़ नहीं है, और आप आखिर में सर से कुछ क्वेश्चंस करिएगा। उसके बाद लास्ट में जब उनके साथ हमारी मीटिंग हुई प्रोफेसर के साथ, तो हमने कहा कैसी रही मीटिंग? उन्होंने कहा अच्छी रही, लेकिन एक क्वेश्चन जो था वो मुझे निरुत्तर कर गया स्टूडेंट्स का। स्टूडेंट्स ने उनसे पूछा कि सर, जब आप इतना अच्छा एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप पढ़ा रहे हैं, आप खुद एंटरप्रेन्योर क्यों नहीं हैं? और ये बड़ा मूल प्रश्न है। हालांकि उन्होंने कहा कि मुझे पढ़ाने में रुचि है, लेकिन मूल प्रश्न ये है कि जो हम पढ़ा रहे हैं क्या उन मूल्यों में हमारी खुद की निष्ठा है? जब हम दीक्षांत समारोह आयोजित करते हैं तो हमेशा गुरु मंत्र के तौर पर अपने स्टूडेंट्स को एक बात कहते हैं, जो बात बड़ी हास्यास्पद भी है, सत्य होते हुए भी, कि बच्चों, ये जो हमने आपको पढ़ाया है, अब आप दुनिया में जा रहे हो और ये जो दुनिया है ये इससे ठीक विपरीत है। ये जो सारी चीज़ें हमने आपको सैद्धांतिक रूप से पढ़ाई हैं, जब आप बाहर जाएंगे तो आप प्रैक्टिकल बिल्कुल उलट करेंगे, अलग करेंगे। हम अपने कैंपस को वो जगह बनाए रखना चाहते हैं जहाँ पर हम अच्छी अच्छी बात उनको बताएं, और जैसे ही वो दुनिया में जाएं वो ठीक उससे अलग उस दुनिया को पाएं, और उनके लिए बड़ा मुश्किल हो जाए वहाँ पर संतुलन स्थापित करना। गांधी जी और गुड़ वाली कहानी आप सभी लोगों ने सुनी होगी कि एक माँ अपने बेटे को, अपने बच्चे को गांधी जी के पास लेकर गई। उन्होंने कहा कि आप इसके सिर पर हाथ रखकर इसे गुड़ खाने के लिए मना कर दीजिए, क्योंकि वो गुड़ बहुत खाता है। गांधी जी ने कहा कि आप इसको मेरे पास 7 दिन बाद लेके आइए। महिला 7 दिन बाद लेके आई और गांधी जी ने उसके सिर पर हाथ रखकर केवल ये कहा कि बेटा, ज़्यादा गुड़ खाना अच्छी बात नहीं है। महिला आश्चर्यचकित हो गई। कुछ दिनों बाद लौटी कि आपकी बात का असर हुआ, लेकिन एक बात मैं आपसे पूछना चाहती हूँ कि आपने ये बात केवल कहने के लिए हमें 7 दिन बाद आमंत्रित क्यों किया, 7 दिन बाद क्यों बुलाया, आप उसी टाइम कह सकते थे। गांधी जी मुस्कुराए और उन्होंने कहा कि वस्तुतः पहले मैं भी बहुत गुड़ खाता था, सबसे पहले मैंने उससे छोड़ा और उसके बाद मेरी आत्मा में वो वज़न आया कि मैं अपनी बात को उस बच्चे तक पहुंचा पाऊं, और शायद उसका असर था कि उस बच्चे ने भी गुड़ छोड़ दिया। हम अपने टीचर्स को उस वैल्यू बेस्ड एजुकेशन सिस्टम तक क्या हम ले आए हैं? अभी तक हमारी जो पॉलिसी है वो ये है कि साइंस वाला केवल साइंस पढ़ाएगा, आर्ट्स वाला केवल आर्ट्स पढ़ाएगा, कॉमर्स वाला केवल कॉमर्स पढ़ाएगा। न्यू एजुकेशन पॉलिसी आई है जो इम्प्लीमेंटेशन हो रही है, मध्य प्रदेश जैसे स्टेट्स में उसने सबसे पहले अडॉप्ट कर लिया है। लेकिन अभी भी जो एक स्वामी विवेकानंद जो कहते हैं कि अंतर्निहित क्षमताओं का पूर्णतम विकास शिक्षा है, हमने अपना वो जो आइडियल शिक्षक है वो अभी तक नहीं बनाया है। अभी तक हमारे जो शिक्षक हैं वो केवल फोकस्ड हैं सिलेबस पढ़ाने के लिए। सिलेबस एजुकेशन नहीं है, जिस तरह से टेक्नोलॉजी साइंस नहीं है। देयर इज अ डिफरेंस बिटवीन कप एंड लिप्स। तो सबसे पहले हमको यही विचार करना होगा कि जिस वैल्यू की बात कर रहे हैं हम, क्या हमने उसको यूनिवर्सली स्थापित कर लिया है, और अगर स्थापित कर लिया है तो क्या हम ऐसे मूल्यों का निर्माण कर पाए हैं जो यूनिवर्सल हों, जो विश्व मानव बनाने में अपना सहयोग देते हों। राष्ट्रवाद की सांधी में, पूंजीवाद की सांधी में, क्षेत्रवाद की सांधी में क्या हमारे शिक्षक भी तो प्रदूषित नहीं हुए चले जा रहे हैं?
जी।
अपने सबकॉन्शियस अनकॉन्शियस में उन मूल्यों को स्थापित तो नहीं किए हुए हैं जो स्टूडेंट्स को केवल धन कमाने के लिए रोबोट्स बनाना चाहता है। देखिए, कोई एक शिक्षा में मेरी बहुत ज़्यादा आस्था नहीं है, वो शिक्षा जो तथाकथित शिक्षा है, क्योंकि हमने अपने अनुभवों से जाना है कि जर्मन जो है वो टॉप ब्रेन कहे जाते हैं। माफ़ कीजिए, मैं किसी देश विशेष की बात कर रहा हूँ। उन्होंने अपने बहुत अच्छे वैज्ञानिक बनाए, बहुत अच्छे सैनिक बनाए, लेकिन फाइनली उन्होंने किया क्या? उन्होंने वो गैस चैम्बर्स बनाए जिसमें मानवता का विनाश किया जा सके।
यस।
वहां से लेके आप यहां तक देखें, अभी आप देखें एक मोबाइल आप उठाते हैं और उसमें विस्फोट होता है, और सैकड़ों लोगों के मोबाइल में एक साथ विस्फोट होता है।
राइट।
ये कितनी अजीब बात है।
No, but as you rightly said, that have we as education system have failed, because as you rightly said, that teachers are teaching the syllabus and they are just minting the graduates. So have we failed somewhere in giving them that liberty or that kind of freedom where they'll be able to incorporate these kind of things? Deshmukh sir, what do you think? Because university, you are sitting vice chancellor of Mumbai University. So what is your thought? Because as sir has now brought this topic up, the teachers are delivering the syllabi given to them. So what should be done?
According to me, when we have larger universities like University of Mumbai, where we have more than 900,000 students.
Right.
And under the new education policy, we are talking about enhancing the gross enrollment ratio up to at least 50%. So from that perspective, if you have to reach the masses, we will have to ensure that the new education policy will encompass the skill-based programs which can be, as rightly put, they are based on the credits.
Right.
And the academic banking of credits is going to help
Yes.
our population to take a break. You have exit point.
Yes.
And you can come back again, like how the birds migrate to a different location and the next year they come back to their origin. From that perspective, if we are able to have this kind of exposure to our students, where the skill-based programs are incorporated in a realistic manner, they should be in a position to take lessons from that, and they will be in a position to stand, be able to stand on their own feet.
Yeah, so you're hopeful that this new education system and then the Indian knowledge system, these new approaches would be able to help us in that. Sir, and I would like to take this question to someone who has reached, I would say, the chairman of ISRO. I mean, the young generation, after watching the movies, Mangalyaan, and they are so motivated that they want to work in ISRO. And as Rajesh sir brought that, our syllabus, our teaching methodologies are just minting graduates, and are we really just preparing clerks? The innovation, the sensitivity, the spirituality that is required in education, have we lost it? After you becoming the chairman of ISRO, probably the topmost position that an scientist can decorate. What are your thoughts on this?
Thank you for that question. So the way I look at the problem is, what should be the primary purpose of education? To me, the primary purpose of education should be to enable the individual to negotiate his life or her life with what is provided to that individual. When we come into this world, we come to this world with a certain set of given things. An intelligence which takes care of the platform, an intelligence which learns on its own based on the stimulus it gets from around that, and then evolves. It actually, today, whatever we are doing, artificial intelligence, etc., is humans' desire to reproduce what is seen in nature. So one of the key things we have lost in the whole process of education, according to me, which is bringing out in this land the ability of the individual to comprehend what features he has or she has and how it can be used as they negotiate life. We are converting the education process into some kind of only job-oriented. That is where the spirituality and science is getting away. But actually, science is showing today that we operate ourselves in an autopilot mode, whereas we are the pilots. And the traditional knowledge has shown that while the platform is available to you, you are something outside that platform. So if this we can, today there is a tremendous opportunity, because the kind of robotic systems we are building, the artificial intelligence we are trying to build, we are showcasing, we are trying to mimic nature. In this process of mimicking nature, we are actually moving towards the original thought process of what is this pilot and what is the role of the pilot in this universe, and whether that pilot is the super conscious thing is what requires. To me, education should be allow the individual to explore the self.
Oh, wow. Thank you very much for that thought. And yes, of course, give a big round of applause. Don't shy away if you really want to applaud the thought. I would like to share with you one experience, sir. I don't know if you're aware of it, but the scientists working in ISRO have now become the heroes of this generation. I mean, we've seen Dr. Somnath talking at one occasion, and students were applauding him more than, and they were appreciating, they're hooting, they're shouting at him when his speech began. And at the same time, there was a celebrity from Indian cinema on the stage. He got the more shout out than the celebrity. So I think we are now getting conscious, we are now getting more serious about what we are willing to do. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for that thought. I would like to take the thoughts of Sunil Rai sir on this particular question, and after that I would like to take this entire panel to the root thought, the cause behind having this conference. I have a small video about it, but before that I would like to take the inputs of Sunil Rai sir.
I think as I will join Dr. Kiran Kumar sir in what he just now said about the education system. The purpose of education is that the individual should find their purpose in life. You know, mostly what happens when you ask a youngster that they would like to be successful, earn a lot of wealth, earn fame, name, and then eventually they want to say, what do you want to do? I want to live in peace. Now, so ultimately, if you have to go to Himalayas and live in peace, then why don't you start it right from now? That you be at peace with yourself, because you will give to the world what you have with you. You are disturbed, you will spread disturbance. You are at peace, you will spread peace.
True.
And therefore, it is the education should be, as was said, that it should be left to the individual. And it was very nicely said out about Siksha and Vidya. The idea is to provide Vidya. Vidya enables you for life, gives you that wisdom to take correct decisions and be useful to yourself and to the society. So therefore, I am totally against this whole kind of syllabus. Thanks to NEP that they are now encouraging that students to design their own syllabus,
Yes.
design your own degrees.
Yes.
And I pray and hope that this really gets executed. These children find their purpose. If they find their purpose, the world will find it.
Wow. What a beautiful thought. Let's give a big round of applause, my friends, for this beautiful thought. And I would like to take this discussion forward after we understand once again that what exactly is the thought behind this conference, why we all have gathered here today, and why are we discussing it. I would like to take the help of my technical team, if they can please show us a small film on the thought behind this conference.
प्यारे भारतवासियों, आज विश्व भर में हिंसा, आतंकवाद, सांप्रदायिकता, अराजकता, तापमान वृद्धि व युद्ध का डरावना माहौल बना हुआ है। क्या भय और संभ्रम से भरी इस अवस्था का कोई अंत नहीं? परमाणु, जैविक और रासायनिक हथियारों से भरे इस विश्व में क्या मानवता 21वीं सदी का अंत देख पाएगी या नहीं? एक निश्चित है कि इस भीषण स्थिति को शांत करने का मार्ग भी मानव निर्मित ही होगा, और एक दैवी संयोग ये है कि पुणे, भारत में एक ऐसी वास्तु का निर्माण हुआ है जो पूरे विश्व को शांति, समन्वय, सद्भाव, वैश्विक बंधुत्व तथा ईश्वरीय विश्वात्मक तत्व का संदेश दे रही है। इस वास्तु के संकल्पनाकार, संरचनाकार तथा निर्माता महान शिक्षाविद डॉक्टर विश्वनाथ दा कराड़ आवाहन करते हैं। भारत के महान सपूत स्वामी विवेकानंद जी ने यह कहा था कि 20वीं सदी में मेरी भारत माता विश्व के सामने ज्ञान का दालन और विश्व गुरु के रूप में उभर कर आएगी। विश्व का ये सबसे बड़ा गुंबद महान तत्वज्ञ संत श्री ज्ञानेश्वर महाराज से श्रेष्ठ वैज्ञानिक डॉक्टर अल्बर्ट आइंस्टाइन तक, अर्थात अध्यात्म से विज्ञान तक का सफर दर्शाता है। अध्यात्म शास्त्र की वैज्ञानिक प्रयोगशाला कहलाए जाने वाले इस विशाल गुंबद रूपी वास्तु में संपन्न होने जा रही है 10th वर्ल्ड पार्लियामेंट ऑफ साइंस, रिलीजन एंड फिलॉसफी 2024, जो विश्व शांति संस्कृति स्थापित करने का मार्ग दिखलाकर मानव को भयभीत करने वाले प्रश्नों का समाधान खोजने का प्रयास करेगी। विज्ञान और अध्यात्म के समन्वय से विश्व शांति और स्वास्थ्य के लिए योग साधना और ओंकार साधना का महत्व, मूल्याधारित शिक्षा पद्धति के अवलंब की आवश्यकता, तीर्थ क्षेत्रों को ज्ञान तीर्थ क्षेत्रों में परावर्तित करने की आवश्यकता, ये और ऐसे कई अन्य विषयों पर इस 3 दिवसीय विश्व परिषद में कई गणमान्य विद्वान, वैज्ञानिक, चिंतक, दार्शनिक, धर्म तथा आध्यात्मिक विदुषी इत्यादि अपने विचार प्रकट करेंगे तथा विश्व शांति के लिए प्रतिबद्ध होने के लिए उपस्थितों को प्रोत्साहित करेंगे। तथागत गौतम बुद्ध का पंचशील, तत्वज्ञ संत श्री ज्ञानेश्वर माउली का पसायदार, राष्ट्रपिता महात्मा गांधी जी की सत्य और अहिंसा की सीख, ये सारे मार्ग विश्व शांति के गंतव्य पर पहुंचते हैं। आइए इस ऐतिहासिक 10th वर्ल्ड पार्लियामेंट ऑफ साइंस, रिलीजन एंड फिलॉसफी 2024 में सम्मिलित होकर विश्व शांति का मार्ग अपनाएं।
Thank you very much. Let's give a big round of applause, my friends, to the thought behind this 10th World Parliament of Science, Religion and Philosophy. My friends, I would like to take your attention and the attention of all the respected dignitaries on the dais, that this is not just a year after year conference where we try to propagate this thought and try to keep this thought in front of the students and the respected dignitaries. Here is a person sitting among us, revered Professor Dr. Vishwanath Karad sir, who has been trying to do this not for last 5, 10 or 20, but last 40 years. he has been trying to propagate this thought. Yes, of course, a big round of applause for him. A person who has dedicated his entire life to the understanding of peace and union of science and spirituality will bring the peace to mankind. This is the thought that he is motivated and spirited with. At this young age, I would say, that he traveled all the way to Europe, United States of America, back to Europe, and then again to India, having a stop in United Arab Emirates. He traveled so much, extensively, conducting various conferences at the top-notch universities of the world to propagate this thought. I'm tempted to show a small glimpse of his entire journey and the way, the kind of appreciation he received throughout the globe just a few months back. I would like to take everyone, the audience and everyone on the stage, to show a small video clip of his journey. I request my technical team to kindly relay. The film of the Oxford University visit, not this one. The film which will show us the journey of revered Professor Dr. Vishwanath Karad sir just a few months back. My friends,
विश्वधर्मी विश्वनाथ की संकल्प यात्रा महाराष्ट्र के एक छोटे से गांव रामेश्वर रुई से चली। विस्मय चकित करने वाली ये संकल्प यात्रा ना जाने कितनी बुलंदियों को छूती हुई ज्ञान भूमि आलंदी से होकर विद्वत नगरी काशी बनारस, भारत की उत्तरी सीमा पार बसे देवभूमि बद्रीनाथ के निकट माणा गांव से निकलकर सप्त सागर पार इंग्लैंड और अमेरिका तक पहुंच गई है। इंग्लैंड के विश्व प्रसिद्ध ऑक्सफोर्ड यूनिवर्सिटी में आयोजित किए गए एक दिवसीय अंतर्राष्ट्रीय परिषद ने भारत और इंग्लैंड के समविचारी विद्वान, वैज्ञानिक, दार्शनिक, शिक्षाविदों को मूल्याधिष्ठित वैश्विक शिक्षा पद्धति का अवलंबन करने की डॉक्टर विश्वनाथ कराड सर की संकल्पना को मूर्त रूप में लाने के लिए प्रेरित किया है। अमेरिका स्थित शिकागो में 130 वर्ष पहले स्वामी विवेकानंद ने अपने प्रेरणादायी शब्द जिस स्थान से उच्चारित किए थे, उसी ऐतिहासिक फुलरटन हॉल के मंच से प्राध्यापक कराड सर ने उपस्थितों को संबोधित कर विज्ञान और अध्यात्म के समन्वय की स्वामी जी द्वारा की गई पहल का स्मरण करवाया। अपने जीवन काल में प्राध्यापक डॉक्टर विश्वनाथ कराड सर द्वारा शिक्षा, विश्व शांति तथा मानव कल्याण के लिए तन मन धन समर्पित करके कार्य किया गया है। उनके इस निस्सीम सेवा भाव से प्रभावित होकर अमेरिका के उटा राज्य स्थित ब्रिघम यंग यूनिवर्सिटी द्वारा डॉक्टर ऑफ एजुकेशन एंड यूनिवर्सल लीडरशिप इस विशेष मानद डॉक्टरेट पदवी से डॉक्टर कराड सर को सम्मानित किया गया।
Brigham Young University periodically confers degrees on men and women whose service to the world, country, and education is of such significance as to warrant the distinction of an honorary degree. This is the highest honor within the university's authority to grant, and today an honorary degree will be conferred upon a very deserving individual. It is my privilege to represent Brigham Young University with the support of the Board of Trustees in conferring an honorary doctoral degree upon Professor Dr. Vishwanath D. Karad.
When we think of the global citizens and the entire human race, I feel that we need to develop through the universities the mechanism like a single cell, the body and the brain, and the soul or the spirit and the mind. And what is the chemistry of mind is the main question. What is the nature of the soul itself? Friends, I don't want to elaborate much about this, but this is what the universities have to think very seriously, and the educational systems all over the world, whether it is Oxford, Cambridge, MIT, Boston, or BYU itself, and we have a duty to perform, and accordingly I can only quote one important sentence and appeal to the Vice Chancellor and the body of trustees that we have to certainly think of the universal education system. And when I say universal education, you may say that every nation has a geography, history, its culture, its traditions, but the time-tested human values are common. The law of nature is common. It is one and the same. It cannot differ for me or for you. I think you have a role to do towards your mother, the father, the family, the society, the nation and the whole world. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, world as one family. Thank you.
लगभग 23,000 दर्शकों की उपस्थिति में संपन्न हुआ ये समारोह इस बात की पुष्टि देता है कि सच्चे मन और समर्पित भावना से किए गए कार्य की सराहना तो विश्व के किसी भी प्रदेश में होती ही है। सॉल्ट लेक सिटी के एक सुप्रसिद्ध पत्रकार और चित्रकर्मी श्री लॉयड न्यूअल द्वारा म्यूजिक एंड द स्पोकन वर्ड इस कार्यक्रम द्वारा विश्वधर्मी प्राध्यापक डॉक्टर विश्वनाथ कराड सर की पहचान भावभीनी शब्दों में उपस्थितों से कराई गई। चार 450 से अधिक कलाकारों से बने एक सुरीले वाद्य वृंद द्वारा प्राध्यापक कराड सर को एक सांगीतिक मानवंदना दी गई, जो कि अपने आप में एक ऐतिहासिक घटना थी। अत्यंत साफ सुथरा चरित्र, विजिगीषु वृत्ति और समर्पित सेवा भाव इस त्रिवेणी संगम से बनी विश्वधर्मी विश्वनाथ की जीवन यात्रा सभी के लिए आदर्शवत है। आइए विश्वधर्मी प्राध्यापक डॉक्टर विश्वनाथ दा कराड सर का सादर अभिनंदन करते हुए उन्हें भविष्य में और अधिक मानव कल्याण के कार्यों के लिए शुभकामनाएं देते हैं।
What a beautiful thought. Let's give a big round of applause to revered Professor Dr. Vishwanath Karad sir, propagating the thought of universal education system all across the globe for the last 40 years. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. And we all are really blessed to have you here today with us and guiding us on this path. And now I would like to summarize this session. I'm going to go into a rapid fire round, and I'm going to go to each one of you after listening to everyone, after watching this video, the thoughts of revered Professor Dr. Vishwanath Karad sir. What you would like to say, just in 1 minute, your last thoughts on how to instill this universal education system in our country, in your own university. What are your thoughts? 1 minute to each, starting from sir.
Thank you, sir. हमने अपने एजुकेशनल सिस्टम को और पूरी समाज व्यवस्था को एलोपैथी जैसा बना रखा है। समस्या कुछ भी हो, इलाज एक ही होगा सबके लिए। हम अपने एजुकेशन सिस्टम को होम्योपैथी जैसा बनाएं, व्यक्ति आधारित व्यवस्था। और दूसरी बात, ये तय बात है कि हमारे पास संसाधन सीमित हैं, अवसर भी सीमित हैं। हम अपने स्टूडेंट्स को और अपने समाज को इस तरह से तैयार करने के लिए प्रयास करें और शिक्षकों को भी इस बात के लिए तैयार करें कि स्टूडेंट्स को वो केवल जीतना नहीं सिखाएं, उन्हें हारने का भी महत्व बतलाएं। और अगर नहीं बतलाएंगे तो ये जो आज समस्याएं हैं आप देख रहे हैं, अवसाद की, डिप्रेशन की, आत्महत्याओं की और कट थ्रोट कंपटीशन की, ये बढ़ती चली जाएंगी।
जी,
हमें हारना सीखना होगा।
राइट।
सत्य की बात ना करें, व्यवस्था की बात भी करें और ये बतलाएं कि सादगी भी एक मूल्य है।
ट्रू।
सादगी वाले मूल्य को हमको अपने समाज में स्थापित करना होगा।
राइट।
तभी ये जो धरती है ये सब लोगों को अच्छा जीवन जीने के लिए मौका दे पाएगी, जैसा गांधी जी ने कहा है।
Sir, we are running short of time. Thank you, sir. Isaac Malekar, sir, your thoughts. I'm really sorry, I'm running short of time. Yes.
As I said, value-based education is character building. Character, why I say, because we have been given an opportunity to build the house of our character. The blocks are time, the cement is our ideal, and the foundation is our faith. The contractor is God, and our conscience is the carpenter. When its structure is fully erected, we live in it for the rest of our life and for our eternity. We can build our house straight or crooked, or firm or weak. It is all up to us.
Beautiful.
So for me, the character building and to recognize the inner or ultimate reality through consciousness.
Right.
That is the spirituality.
Thank you.
Personal transformation is the real value-based.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Tripathi ji, your thoughts in 60 seconds.
Just in nutshell, by reciting one slok, which is applicable to the Karad Sahab, and this universalization of education with respect to peace and value. Just in one slok, I am summarizing. Vidya dadati vinayam, vinayat yat patratam, patratat dhanam sampradam, और धनस्य सुखम आबलिक धर्मम वर्धते. Now this education must be transported from education to Vidya. Working as a 7 year, I worked as a monitoring and appellate authority of Right to Education Act, working in Child Right Commission. So my experience is that education must be given by using hand, heart, and head.
Yes.
That is concept is a Bardha concept.
Right.
Further, my request is that Bardha Shiksha Parishad that happened in 1937, उसकी रिपोर्ट है.
Sure.
और सभी को उसकी रिपोर्ट यदि यूनिवर्सिटियों में, विद्यालयों में हमने ट्राई भी किया राइट टू एजुकेशन एक्ट के मॉनिटरिंग अधिकारी होने से लागू कर दिया जाए तो कैरेक्टर बेस्ड एजुकेशन and employment की problem, there should not be any problem or shall not be any problem of employment, and this value based education shall be universalized. And now this is slok Vidyadharaj Vinayam Vinayat. Can I translate this?
No sir, I'm running short of time. I'm really sorry.
So Vidyadharaj Vinayam, just please. So this is nutshell that is this gist of this whatever Karad Sahab had done. Vidyadharaj Vinayam and Vinayadiyat Patra. He is a patra. He earned the money and utilized the money for this Vidya.
Thank you.
So
Thank you. Deshmukh sir, over to you.
I'll take less than 1 minute. Let us remember that education is not a means to an end, but I feel it is an end itself. And I would like to reiterate that it's a process with which we become fully human, fully aware, and fully alive. Let us not settle for an education that merely informs, but we have to strive for the education which will transform. And last sentence, the future of our world depends on the decisions that we make today. Let us build an education system worthy of that future, one that honors the mind, elevates the spirit, and upholds the values that bind us together as one human family.
Wow.
Thank you.
Thank you. You literally finished in 45 seconds, sir. Thank you.
I will also
Right,
take
sir.
less than that.
Yes.
दो ही बातें हैं, एक विचार है और एक संदेश है. विचार आ रहा है श्री मनोज कुमार जी की पिक्चर से. मैं बसाना चाहता हूं स्वर्ग धरती पर, आदमी जिसमें रहे बस आदमी बनकर.
वाह.
संदेश बच्चों के लिए है, महान बनो, बड़े मत बनो. बड़ा हुआ तो क्या हुआ, जैसे पेड़ खजूर, पंथी को छाया नहीं, फल लागे अति दूर.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. That was really a beautiful thought. Yes, sir.
To me, beyond whatever education that happens, we need to allow the individual to explore the self. Today, while we are exploring the external universe and creating, mimicking what we are seeing in nature, we are forgetting the person or the individual who is doing has a role, and then understanding this consciousness. So we need to explore the inner self along with whatever else we do in education.
Wow, very beautiful thought. Thank you very much. Sir.
I think that we truly know something when we teach it to others.
Right.
On Monday, I worked with the education department, any students here from education, to give them a workshop on how to teach human rights, peace, and these values to others. So my challenge is every student here should have to have an experience teaching these values before they leave the university, because then when you teach, you internalize.
Wow. Very beautiful thought. Thank you very much. Madam Deborah, yeah.
I firmly believe that teaching emotional intelligence to every child, every adult, every human being is basically teaching them to handle their inner self, and that is what's most important and most needed to deal with everything we see in technology. And what's beautiful is that teaching emotional intelligence, it has been scientifically proven and it's also academically proven that the body holds emotions. And if we are able to have tools that are actually tangible and where people can connect and communicate in an unspoken way rather than only having the option to sit with your therapist, to sit with your psychologist, or sit in a classroom, but be able to communicate in an unspoken manner, I do believe that we can change the world. We can be more empathetic. There'll be kindness. There'll be understanding of the emotions of others, in addition to being aware of your own emotions and expressing your emotions, which we don't do. And therefore, we created the band bond therapy to connect kids, not only in India, but around the globe, in the Middle East, in Europe, and in the United States. And what's the most powerful part of this is that it is not religious, but it has been based on the basic principles of the chakras, which is our ancient Indian philosophy.
Thank you very much for bringing the flavor of emotional intelligence in this discussion towards the end. Thank you very much. Ma'am, over to you.
Yeah, so my message to the audience here is, be the change that you want to see, lead by change, and to evolve a humane learning society.
Wow, thank you very much for that thought. Beautiful thought. Let's give a big round of applause, my friends, to all the honorable vice chancellors, leaders of various academic institutions, and tall personalities in their own field. Thank you very much, all of you. And before I take this session towards its end, but as Dr. Sunil Rai sir in his opening opening answer said very rightly, that if at all there are headquarters of religions all across the globe, this is the headquarters of world peace. What a beautiful thought. Thank you very much for that thought, sir. And I would like to take the lead from that thought, and I would like to share once again a small film with audience as well as all the dignitaries, that what exactly is the thought behind this dome and what it stands for. Over to you, my team.
My dear learned friends, I am the original creative element of this vast universe. I am knowledge divine. I have no beginning. I have no end. Dear friends, way back in the 13th century, the philosopher saint Sri Dnyaneshwar from India said that the entire infinite universe is a manifestation of pure intelligence and consciousness, the ultimate reality, the ultimate truth, Almighty God, which operates in a cyclic form and which was assertively confirmed by latter-day scientists like Dr. Albert Einstein, Dr. Erwin Schrödinger, Dr. Roger Penrose, and others. It is indeed fortunate that today I, knowledge divine, have evolved and manifested in the form of a monumental creation, the world's largest dome, dedicated to peace, harmony, and humanity, which is truly a spiritually oriented scientific laboratory. The creator of this monument of miracle is the eminent visionary educationist from India, Professor Dr. Vishwanath D. Karad. Friends, the world is witnessing mind-boggling scientific and industrial developments on the one hand, while on the other, there is total chaos, confusion, terrorism, bloodshed, and massacre in the name of caste, creed, race, religion, and trivial issues like boundaries of nations. My dear friends, it is a matter of great shame that today the entire world, be it the most powerful and developed nations, poorest of the poor countries, are combating the devastating and horrifying coronavirus COVID-19 pandemic, which has created a horrifying situation with a deathly silence prevailing throughout the world, with the fear looming large that humanity may not even see the end of the 21st century. Today, the need of the hour is to promote a culture of peace through the appropriate understanding of the role of science and spirituality, with the scientific component being represented by the body and the brain, and the spiritual component being represented by the mind and the soul, together making for the universal scientific laws or principles, Vishwarajbaug Tattva. My dear friends, it is therefore quite befitting that the world's largest dome, a symbol of knowledge divine and peace, be named after this great philosopher, Saint Shri Jnaneshwar. This dome, which has taken form near the city of Pune in India, has become a beacon of humanity, universal brotherhood, and peaceful coexistence. Friends, perhaps for the first time in known human history, stand 54 beautiful life-size bronze statues of some of the greatest saints, scientists, and philosophers in this largest dome dedicated to world peace. They are those who, over the years, have found recognition as the true makers of world history, and they have assembled here in this wonderful dome like a round table conference to discuss the future of this world. In this 263-foot tall dome of 160 feet diameter stands Lord Gautam Buddha, who performed a deep penance in the pursuit of knowledge divine and enlightenment. Standing tall in this dome is Lord Jesus Christ, whose message of love, peace, and compassion guides humanity 2,000 years after his immortal sacrifice. Also present in this dome is Guru Nanak Dev, who preached that knowledge cannot be obtained by speech alone. It can only be obtained with the blessings of the Almighty. This imposing domed structure has the great philosopher Saint Tukaram Maharaj, Mahatma Kabir, Baba Bulle Shah, Adi Shankaracharya, and many more spiritually enlightened souls. It has path-breaking scientists like Dr. Albert Einstein, Sir Isaac Newton, Sir Michael Faraday, Dr. C.V. Raman, etc.
great philosophers like Aristotle, Plato, Kant, Hegel, Swami Vivekananda, and the revered messenger of world peace, Mahatma Gandhi. All these enlightened noble souls have just one message to convey. Only the pursuit of knowledge can lead humanity to an existence of happiness, peace, and contentment. My dear friends, this outstanding, magnificent domed structure is a true laboratory to bring about the harmony of science, spirituality, and philosophy, and conveys the eternal messages from the ancient Indian scriptures like Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, the world as one family, created in pure white marble. This beautiful structure is the product of the concept, planning, and architecture of the great visionary, educationist, thinker, and philosopher, Professor Dr. Vishwanath D. Karad, founder of the world-renowned Myers MIT Group of Educational Institutions, Pune, India. An ardent follower of the great noble son of India, Swami Vivekananda, and a profound devotee of two of the greatest philosopher saints, Shri Jnaneshwar and Tukaram, Dr. Vishwanath Karad has been instrumental in creating some of the most amazing monuments like the embankments on the river Indrayani at Alandi near Pune, the huge multimedia coliseum for mass literacy also at Alandi, the most unique bridge of humanity, Ram Rahim Manavta Setu, the stunning Gautam Buddha Vihar and Lord Ram Temple in his native village of Rameshwar Rui in the Marathwada region of Maharashtra, the one-of-a-kind music academy in the world, Vishwa Shanti Sangeet Kala Academy, and many more. Friends, the beautiful statue of the goddess of knowledge divine, Goddess Saraswati, atop this beautiful dome is also conveying this very message that only the pursuit of knowledge can create a pathway to world peace. Friends, through this unique monument of miracle, philosopher Saint Shri Jnaneshwar World Peace Prayer Hall, World Peace Dome, I would like to appeal to all right-thinking people to realize the message of peace and harmony being delivered by this dome and contribute their mites in creating a peace-loving, holistic, global society.
Let's give a big round of applause, my friends, to revered Professor Dr. Vishwanath Karad, sir, the founder and chairperson of Myers MIT Pune and the president of MIT World Peace University. Let's give a big round of applause, my friends, for conceptualizing this World Peace Dome, the driving force behind this conference. I would now request him to kindly propose his presidential address.
All the great men of wisdom and scholarship sitting on the dais, the very learned scholars, thinkers, philosophers, men of science and men of spirituality, and highly committed in promoting the noble cause of peace and harmony through the appropriate understanding of what the science stands for and what the spiritual component stands for. And I know very well that the students sitting in front of me, who have been of the very scholarly students from various institutions, either WPU or this very institution and the institutions around, who are eagerly trying to understand the mindset of the seniors like this, Kiran Kumar or Rai or Deshmukh. And it has been a very thrilling experience for me. And I sincerely felt very happy and contented that the discussion going on in this hall. But at the very same time, I'm thinking that when we are discussing about promoting the culture of peace, understanding the role of science and spirituality for our happiness or the contented life, what must have been the nation-state heads of the world community must be thinking at this time? And what for this gathering? What is our purpose? I think building the home of character. You will not believe, friends, yesterday we had a program. I will not make a name. I'm not making any political comment. But we had 2 sessions wherein we had said that we will invite the nation's state heads like a president or the prime minister or leader of opposition to speak their mind. Because now at this moment you know what is happening in Israel or Gaza and world over. A small film which we have seen, it's horrifying. The chaos, confusion, bloodshed, massacre and terrorism has become a daily routine program. And who decide this? The heads of these nation states. So I just felt, and let me tell you friends, but I felt that this is my duty, our duty, to think positive, think logical, philosophical, for making the life of the people of different nations going beyond the caste, creed, religion and bodies of nations. And whether we can join or network the minds of the people, धर्म की बात हो या किसी जीने की बात हो, in India it is said सच्चित आनंद की बात हो, सुख समाधान शांति का दायित्व किस तरफ है. And for this education, so many universities and heads of states, when they are discussing all this aspect, you saw a small figure on the TV or in the program. Remember, friends, as a student of science and also having a deep faith in understanding what spiritual component stands for. और जब दुनिया, मेरे भाई बैठे हैं अमेरिका से, जो सम्मान हुआ छोटा सा देखा आपने, ये मेरा सम्मान नहीं था. It was for the cause for which our institution is trying to learn and understand. And because of this very unique component of spirituality and science, understanding for the well-being of the mankind, humanity, the smallest of the smallest living cell, कितनी भी छोटी हो, माइक्रोस्कोप के नीचे भी नहीं दिखाई देता है. It has the body and it has the brain. And on the other side, there is a spirit or a spiritual component. जिसे soul बोला जाता है, कोई heart बोला जाता है, and the mind which plays the game. But these components of the body, the brain, the soul or the spirit, जिसे आत्मा कहा जाता है भारतीय लोगों में, and the mind. Mind is very notorious, very fickle. But this is a mechanism which is universal in the entire world. सारे ब्रह्मांड में, यूनिवर्स में ये mechanism है, 4 बार mechanism बोलते हैं, जिसको मैं स्टूडेंट होने के नाते I do understand the very mechanism which is common. दिखाई नहीं देता, single living cell, but the mechanism is again the same. And in the whole system of a life mechanism, the soul and the mind. Soul is stable, very different, universal, all pervading. भीगता नहीं, जलता नहीं, ऐसी बातें हैं. लेकिन माइंड के बारे में बड़े चंचलता का गेम होता है. तो हाउ टू मेक इट स्टेबल, ये कॉमन है भाई, मेरे लिए नहीं, प्राणी मात्र के लिए, दुनिया के लिए. And hence the great philosopher saint of India, Sant Gyaneshwara. I am not taking the name of Gyaneshwara as an Indian. One of the greatest human being, I think in the small film it was said, the Panchashila of Tathagat Gautam Buddha. And I said, the Poseidon of Sant Gyaneshwara. What is common between the two? It prays for the well-being of the entire mankind, going beyond any caste, creed, religion and bodies of nations. याति कुल माझे गेले हरपोटी. बहुत सुंदर है. उम्र है 16 साल की. 16 at the age of 16, this boy, while making a commentary on Bhagavad Gita, narrates the most universal scientific principles, like rising of the sun in the east and going to the west is an illusion. Before Galileo, I'm not praising being an Indian. It's one of the greatest noble soul, an embodiment of knowledge divine. And when it was said to you just now that the entire universe is a manifestation of intelligence and consciousness, and the message of today's great scientists and prophets world over is that please understand the very nature of the universe. ब्रह्मांड का स्वरूप क्या है भाई, यूनिवर्स किसे कहा जाता है, और अपना ये जो आत्मा है, जीव है, लिविंग सेल है, उसका स्थान क्या है, और उसको स्टेबल करने के लिए what should be the education system. We have said value based universal education system. मुझे खुशी इस बात की कि भाई आप जैसे बड़े लोग, स्कॉलरली लोग, who are not only concerned for themselves, खुद का enjoyment of life is not the very purpose, but doing something very good and fair and minimize the disorder. Disorder in the mind, soul, the society, the nation and the whole world. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, one word. इसकी खोज में यह प्रयास है भाई. मुझे बहुत सुंदर लगा कि आज का discussion, the way in which it went on. I know that everybody can speak for hours together, but very briefly they were given the advice, and I feel that I feel elated. The lust, the greed, the jealousy, the hatred, how to minimize these bad qualities. Worshipping the men of virtues is the real life. सद्गुणों की पूजा यही ईश्वर पूजा है. What is God? What is the reality? What is the ultimate truth? So many things can be discussed, friends. And I feel that this hall has been emerged, not made. It has come up, very big story. And in this hall, when the world is on the verge of getting destroyed, we are thinking, many people are talking about the Third World War and also the next destruction of the entire earth. On that background, we are sitting here, friends. Let us pledge, understand ourselves, our duty, and I feel that that part has been almost on the right path. Starting with the quest of the universal peace, now finding the pathway of world peace has been the journey. I'm grateful to every one of you. Thank you, Mr. Bharat. I'm grateful, Bharat, for you. I'm saying thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir, for your kind words and your guide. It's only because of your guidance that we are able to take this discussion and such kind of thoughts forward. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Once again, a big round of applause for revered Professor Dr. Vishwarajbaug, sir. With this, we are coming towards the end of this beautiful discussion. But before I conclude, I would like to request the Honorable Pro Vice Chancellor of MIT ADT, Professor Dr. Ramchandra Pujari ji, to kindly propose the vote of thanks.
Namaste Sharada Devi, Kashmir Paravasini, Vidyadanam today. Happy morning, one and all present here. I know you all went on with value-based education, Samundar, for an about 1 hour, 20 minutes exactly. What a wonderful session today, and the galaxy involved with this stalwarts from the industry, from the education. So let me do my duty to propose the vote of thanks for this wonderful August gathering and the great session which is the value-based education. For this, we have the Honorable ex-chairman of ISRO, none other than our very known personality, that is Kiran Kumar sir. Kindly give a big round of applause for his busy schedule. He has accepted our invitation and to be with us. Due to the short time, I will not go into the detail of everyone. I will just brief. Yeah. We have here Dr. Sunil Rai sir, Devashish Sawap madam, Sanjay Deshmukh sahab, Priyan Grim, Abhay Tripathi sahab, Aarti Srivatsav madam, Rajesh Dixit sir. They have opened up their mind and gave a thought how this value-based education helps the student to ensure and to develop the skills and virtues of they need to be ethical, compensate, and responsible citizen with all this. So I must thank on behalf of the management and the World Peace Parliament Committee organization, and on behalf of our founder father and the chairman of this World Parliament, Dr. Vishwanath Karad sir. I thank you everyone who are all present in this particular Rosette Gathering. I request all of you give a big round of applause to everyone.
Thank you.
I'll also thank our chairman of this World Parliament, Dr. Vishwanath Karad sir, and thank you all the audience for patience listening. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for proposing vote of thanks. And indeed, we are grateful to Honorable Dr. Kiran Kumarji for his presence, Dr. Sunil Rai ji, Deborah Swavji, Sanjay Deshmukh ji, Brian Grimm ji, Abhay Narayan Tripathi ji, Professor Aarti Srivastava ji, Rajesh Dixit ji, and of course, Isaac Malekar ji. Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone, for your presence here today. I would like to request all of you to please rise in your seats and give us a photograph, after which this session would conclude. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, dignitaries, for taking part in this session. It was indeed our pleasure to have you all here today. Thank you very much. I request all the dignitaries and their licensing officers to kindly take the guests to their designated places. Thank you. I request my stage team to kindly prepare the stage for the second session, which is second session of the day, which is coming right up. I request the stage team to quickly prepare the stage for the next important session of the day.
Ladies and gentlemen, namaste. Good afternoon. I welcome you all to this fifth session of 10th World Parliament on Science, Religion and Philosophy. Pranayama, namaz, prayer, chanting, and etc. to develop the positive mindset. The practices of focusing our attention on a single point of reference has been amply followed by different religions and spiritual groups since long. This practice has yielded spiritual upliftment for its practitioners, and in turn they have propagated it for the benefit of all. Methods of meditation, yoga, vipassana, pranayama, namaz, prayer, chanting, and many more help humankind focus their attention, their energies onto a single point of reference. They apparently belong to the different religious and spiritual practices, but at the core, they are all designed to help us purify our sources of energies, be they matter, mind, spirit, or consciousness. There is a dire need to change the very definition of word of philosophy and its pursued meaning. There have been saints, sages, seers, and prophets throughout the centuries who have been looked upon as religious preachers and at times those who promote blind faith. However, in reality, most of the saints, sages, seers, and prophets are actually providing the pathway to inner peace and how to live in contentment with oneself. The methods adopted by each one may be different, but their ultimate goal is welfare of the entire humanity. Therefore, it is in our firm belief that the greatest saints, sages, seers, and prophets should be considered as philosophers and not as just religious preachers. May this session inspire all of us and we gain wisdom to become more conscious as human. Very shortly, we are welcoming our guest speakers and we will begin the session. Bharat, Eminent Vice President, ISKCON, Pune. So, with this, my dear friends, let us give our invited dignitaries and honorable guests a huge round of applause. Keep clapping, keep up the spirit, my dear friends. Thank you so much. It's my pleasure to introduce the theme of the session on which our honorable guest will shed light on. The theme of the session is Need to Establish Schools of Consciousness and Reality to Understand and Experience the Ultimate Truth, Almighty God. As we get set to begin our exchange of thoughts, ideas, and experiences on the theme, I request my technical team to kindly relay a curtain raiser video. Over to my technical team.
The practices of focusing our attention on a single point of reference has been amply followed by different religions and spiritual groups since long. This practice has yielded spiritual upliftment for its practitioners, and in turn, they have propagated it for the benefit of all methods of meditation like yoga, vipassana, pranayama, namaz, prayer, chanting, and many more help humankind focus their attentions, their energies onto a single point of reference. There is a dire need to change the very definition of the word philosophy and its perceived meaning. Most of the saints, sages, seers, and prophets provide the pathway to inner peace and how to live in contentment with oneself. Therefore, it is our firm belief that the greatest saints, sages, seers, and prophets should be considered as philosophers and not as religious preachers only. In this session, we will throw a light on the need to establish schools of consciousness and reality to understand the experience, the ultimate truth, Almighty God.
Thank you so much, dear technical team. As we get set to begin our exchange of thoughts, ideas, and experiences on the theme, I shall request Dr. Jayant Khandare, Director, MIT School of Consciousness, MITWPU, Pune, an accomplished academic and innovator and the Best Pharmaceutical Scientist Awardee for the welcome and introductory remark. Over to you, sir.
It's my distinct honor to be here today and introduce the role of schools of consciousness that Dr. Karad sir has actually established immediately after COVID. We all know that the science, spirituality, philosophy is extremely important in today's context. If we understand the context of practicing peace in a modern world is getting extremely difficult because of philosophical, religious, scientific, business, technologies, and advancement. While there are extreme challenges today that actually we face, the science has actually gone to the extremes to look at a terrestrial space. But it has been always a dynamic that Dr. Karad sir has been mentioning about strong Indian philosophy and science established by Sant Naneshwar. And we know that a Pasaidan itself could be a world's prayer, and this has to be percolated in the minds of Indians and the great scientific community. I would like to define a context of today's session in three aspects: philosophical, chemical, as sir always asks, what is the chemistry of a mind? That's a very intriguing question, and we have some scientists from NCL Pune and some philosophers from the field. I would like to also establish what is the biological evolution that has actually led to the understanding of human consciousness in a panel discussion. What is human capacity? And finally, actually, we'll talk about the great aspect, which is holistic aspect of human being. Can we be more healthy in the information that we are getting? Most important, can be human, a simplicity of a human being. Can we bring the values through such kind of an educational systems? You are into a world's laboratory where this dome is established, and Karat sir has been aspiring to bring science and spirituality through this kind of deliberations. And most important value of life in my own aspect is to enhance the happiness index. And I'm very glad that today's experts sitting on the dais will bring this context wholeheartedly. So it's my privilege, it's my distinct privilege, Ashish. Thank you for bringing me here today for this session.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Please give Honorable Dr. Jayan Khandare, sir, a big round of applause. Now, my dear friends, as we move further, it is my indeed an honor and privilege to introduce our first distinguished speaker, Honorable Brahma Kumari Usha Didi. B.K. Usha Didi is a respectful spiritual leader and management trainer with the Brahma Kumaris Ishwariya Vishwa Vidyalaya in Mount Abu, Rajasthan. Starting her spiritual journey in 1980, she specializes in Raj Yoga meditation, delivered discourses on the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, and has mentored individuals worldwide. Known for integrating spiritual principles into modern business practices, Usha Didi has pioneered spiritual management. Her training programs promote self-management, leadership, and harmonious work environment. A sought-after speaker and writer, she bridges complex spiritual concepts with practical applications. Usha Didi also actively supports philanthropic initiatives contributing to social and humanitarian causes. Didi was also invited in the Vishwa Hindu Parishad at Chicago as a guest speaker. So we are lucky to get your holy presence, Didi. Our students and everyone present here are eagerly waiting to hear from you. A big round of applause, my dear friends. Honorable B.K. Usha Didi. Over to you, ma'am. This session will be live on Peace of Mind channel, Dish TV, Tata Sky, Videocon, Airtel, Jio, on all social media platforms. Thank you.
Om Shanti. Greetings of peace from Mount Abu to everyone present here. पिछले 2 दिन से हम इस इंटरनेशनल पीस डोम में, जो कि हमारे आदरणीय प्रोफेसर डॉक्टर विश्वनाथ कराड़ जी का एक सपना था, उस सपने को हर साल एक ऐसी पार्लियामेंट ऑर्गेनाइज करते हुए मैं समझती हूँ सारे भारत में तो क्या सारे विश्व में एक संदेश देने का कार्य कर रहे हैं कि वर्तमान समय के अंदर आध्यात्मिक विज्ञान की आवश्यकता है। अब तक हमने स्पिरिचुअलिटी एंड साइंस 2 अलग-अलग चीज को सुना, परंतु मैं कहूंगी आध्यात्मिकता स्वयं में एक विज्ञान है, क्योंकि जहां विज्ञान समाप्त होता है, जहां विज्ञान के पास कोई उत्तर नहीं होता है, वहां उसका उत्तर आध्यात्मिक विज्ञान के पास है। जिसको कॉन्शियसनेस कहे, चेतना कहे, और उस चेतना को जागृत करने की आवश्यकता है आज के युग के अंदर, क्योंकि जब वो चेतना जागृत होगी तो व्यक्ति अपने आप में शांत भी रहेगा, सक्षम भी होगा और जो जीवन के अंदर प्राप्त करना चाहता है उसको अचीव भी कर सकेगा। हम सभी ने अलग अलग डेफिनेशंस पीस की सुनी, लेकिन जो मैंने कुछ अपने चिंतन से लाया है कि पीस क्या है। पीस इज अ डीप इनर फीलिंग ऑफ प्लेजेंटनेस एंड ब्लिस। जीवन के अंदर आज इसकी आवश्यकता है। इतना ही नहीं, इट इज अ सेंस ऑफ इनर हार्मनी, ऑफ ट्रैंक्विलिटी, कूलनेस एंड सेरेनिटी। पीस बाहर नहीं, भीतर की आवश्यकता है, उसको भीतर से जागृत करने की जरूरत है। लेकिन ये नहीं कि पीस हमें डल कर देता है। इट्स एन अलर्ट स्टेट ऑफ माइंड filled with clarity and collectedness, and it's the foundation of all inner strengths and resources. अब जिस चेतना की हम बात करते हैं, वो चेतना कहाँ प्राप्त होगी, वो शांति कहाँ मिलेगी? क्या हमें बगीचों में मिलेगी, पहाड़ों में मिलेगी, जंगलों में मिलेगी, समुद्र किनारों पर मिलेगी, या स्मशान घाट में मिलेगी? वहाँ तो नहीं होगी। या साइलेंस ऑब्जर्व करने के बाद भी क्या विचार शून्य होने पर प्राप्त होगी? वो तो खाली साइलेंस होगी, पीस तो नहीं कहेंगे। इसलिए बहुत सुंदर किसी ने कहा है, देयर इज सोर्स ऑफ लाइट बट नो सोर्स ऑफ डार्कनेस, देयर इज सोर्स ऑफ लाइफ, नो सोर्स ऑफ डेथ, देयर इज सोर्स ऑफ हैप्पीनेस, नो सोर्स ऑफ सॉरो, देयर इज सोर्स ऑफ पीस, no source of peacelessness. Peace is not just absence of thoughts or sound or war. The source of peace is the harmonious feeling of values, powers and virtues. और इसलिए जीवन के इस क्रम में अगर देखा जाए तो हमारे जीवन के अंदर जब ये 7 गुणों का ऑरा, पीस को इसीलिए सफेद दिखाते हैं, सफेद के अंदर 7 रंग समाये होते हैं। और वो 7 रंग कौन से हैं? नॉलेज, प्योरिटी, लव, ट्रुथ, हैप्पीनेस, ब्लिस एंड विल पावर। ये 7 गुणों का समूह, ये हमारी चेतना है, ये हमारी कॉन्शियसनेस है। कॉन्शियसनेस खाली एक चेतना नहीं, क्योंकि चैतन्यता की अभिव्यक्ति कैसे होगी? चैतन्यता की अभिव्यक्ति खुशी से होती है, ज्ञान से होती है, आनंद से होती है, शक्ति से होती है और प्रेम से होती है। तो इसीलिए कहा कि जहां ये 7 गुण हमारे ऑरा में समा जाते हैं, ये हमारी चेतना का हिस्सा बन जाते हैं। लेकिन उसको अनुभव करने के लिए 5 कदम आज मैं बताती हूँ, और वो 5 कदम कौन से हैं जो उसको हम जागृत भी करें, अनुभव भी करें। पहला कदम है उसका, जिसको हम कहते हैं सेल्फ डिस्कवरी। अपनी वास्तविकता को जानना, अपनी वास्तविकता को समझना। क्योंकि कॉन्शियसनेस क्या है? हम कॉन्शियसनेस की बात करते हैं, हम कॉन्शियसनेस है, आई एम दैट कॉन्शियंट एंटिटी। लेकिन वो कॉन्शियंट एंटिटी की वास्तविकता क्या है, उसको समझना है। जैसे शरीर की वास्तविकता 5 तत्व है, तो आत्मा की वास्तविकता क्या है, उसको समझना जरूरी है। दूसरा है फिर सेल्फ रिकवरी। कुछ चीजें आ गई है जिसको हमें हटाना होगा। तीसरा है फिर सेल्फ डिसिप्लिन। भगवत गीता के अंदर बार बार भगवान ने अर्जुन से कहा, डिसिप्लिन योरसेल्फ। अपनी इंद्रियों को डिसिप्लिन करो, क्योंकि तभी तुम मुक्ति का अनुभव कर सकेंगे, सेल्फ लिबरेशन। एंड द 5th स्टेप इज सेल्फ एम्पावरमेंट। तो ये 5 कदम है उसकी अनुभूति के लिए। पहला जो कहा, डिस्कवरी ऑफ द सेल्फ। सेल्फ डिस्कवरी में आत्मा की वास्तविकता, ये 7 गुण है। इसका स्वरूप बन जाना, यही चेतना है, यही आध्यात्मिकता है। स्पिरिट, स्पिरिचुअलिटी इज दैट विच इज कनेक्टेड विद द स्पिरिट। आत्मा के साथ जो जुड़ी हुई बातें हैं और आत्मा के साथ जुड़े हुए हैं वैल्यूज। तो ये वैल्यूज का स्वरूप बन जाना, हम जब कहते हैं ओम शांति, ओम शांति मीन्स आई एम अ पीसफुल बीइंग। ओम प्रेम कहते हैं, माना आई एम अ लवफुल बीइंग, आई एम अ नॉलेजेबल बीइंग। तो इसीलिए मेरी वास्तविकता वही है। शरीर की वास्तविकता ऑक्सीजन है, शरीर की वास्तविकता पानी है, शरीर पानी मांगता है, ऑक्सीजन मांगता है। इसी तरह आज हर कोई को शांति चाहिए। क्यों? मेरी चैतन्यता उस शांति की चाहना रखती है, क्योंकि मैं वही हूं। ये मेरी वास्तविकता है। लेकिन किसी ने बहुत सुंदर कहा है, वी हैव लॉस्ट विजडम इन नॉलेज एंड वी हैव लॉस्ट नॉलेज इन इंफॉर्मेशन। आज की दुनिया इंफॉर्मेशन के आधार पर टिकी है। वो ज्ञान, वो प्रज्ञा गायब हो गई है, वो विजडम गायब हो गई है। इसलिए ये 7 गुणों को स्वरूप होना, ये हमारी वास्तविकता है। तभी हमें रिकवरी, सेल्फ रिकवरी होगी। रिकवरी किससे? जीवन के अंदर कई कमजोरियां आ गई है और ये कमजोरियां ही मनुष्य को कमजोर करती है। काम, क्रोध, लोभ, मोह, अहंकार, ईर्ष्या, द्वेष, छल, कपट, आलस, भय, स्वार्थ, ये इंसान को कमजोर कर रही है। क्यों? क्योंकि हम अपनी कॉन्शियसनेस से बहुत दूर हो गए हैं, उस चेतना से हम बहुत दूर हो गए हैं। इसीलिए ये कमजोरी हमारे जीवन में आई है। इसलिए इसको मिटाना है और उसके लिए ये चेतना को जागृत करने की आवश्यकता आज महसूस हुई है। तभी जो गीता में कहा अर्जुन को भगवान ने कि योग माना क्या? योग माना स्वयं को सुसंस्कृत करने का विज्ञान। इट इज द साइंस ऑफ सेल्फ डिसिप्लिनिंग। स्वयं को सुसंस्कृत करने का विज्ञान इन अ पॉजिटिव डायरेक्शन, कि जहां हम उस एनर्जी को, चेतना की एनर्जी को एक सकारात्मक दिशा की ओर मोड़े। ये आज की आवश्यकता है, क्योंकि तभी हम जीवन के अंदर सही तरीके से फ्रीडम का अनुभव कर सकते हैं। लिबरेशन, गीता में इसीलिए कहा है मुक्ति से श्रेष्ठ जीवन मुक्ति है। शरीर से मुक्त हो जाना कोई बड़ी बात नहीं है। जीवन में रहते मुक्ति का अनुभव करना वो तभी होगा जब उस चेतना की जागृति होगी, और तब हम उस 7 गुणों से, इसीलिए आत्मा को कहा जाता है आत्मा सतोगुणी है, तो 7 गुणों से स्वयं को एम्पावर करे, सशक्त करे। तभी हम शांति का वो स्वरूप बन जाएंगे और उस एम्पावरमेंट के आधार से ही विश्व के आगे जो चेतना की हम बात कर रहे हैं, जिसके आधार पर भारत विश्व के अंदर विश्व गुरु का स्थान ले सकता है, जो आज हमारे कराड़ स्वर का स्वप्न है, स्वामी विवेकानंद का स्वप्न है कि विश्व गुरु बनना चाहिए। यही खजाना हमारे पास है चेतना का, जिससे सारे विश्व को हम एक दिशा दे सकते हैं और इस संसार की दशा को भी परिवर्तित कर सकते हैं। इन्हीं शब्दों के साथ वाणी को विराम देती हूँ। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
Thank you so much, Honorable B.K. Usha Didi, for sharing the 5 practical steps to awaken the consciousness and mentioning about the 7 qualities. Thank you so much. With this, now I request Honorable Dr. Zain Khandare, sir, the Director of School of Consciousness, MITWPU University, to please begin the panel discussion. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Ashish. Ashish, am I audible? Yes, thank you. I have a great pleasure to be sitting here today and post wonderful lecture by Honorable Usha Didi. Thank you for the words of wisdom. They are simpler, but not as easy to digest them. So thank you for setting a context of this session. I'm very honored today to introduce today's distinguished panelist here, Honorable Mandar Apte, Dr. Mandar Apte, who is Executive Director at Cities for Peace International Association for Human Values, coming from Los Angeles. Thank you, sir, for traveling through multiple oceans and coming here. We also have our next distinguished speaker, who is also an odd man out, who daily looks into the brains of human being for the complexities from diseases and disorders. So it brings me a great pleasure to introduce Dr. Deepak Ranade, who is one of a neurosurgeon who does spine and neurosurgeries days and nights and has been So he's an author of Speaking Tree, and he writes routinely in columns in Times of India. That's a wonderful writing that most of the Indians are aware of. I'm very happy to represent Honorable Madhuri Sahasrabuddhe, Chairperson, Foundation of Holistic Development in Academic Field, coming from New Delhi. Thank you, ma'am. We have been introduced with Honorable B.K. Usha Didi. I request her to extend her stay for another 10 minutes if it is possible and contribute into this session. I have a great pleasure to sit beside one of India's distinguished scientists who has been very accomplished scientific publisher in the field of plant sciences. And he knows actually how nature has accomplished its own consciousness for whatever purpose. Dr. Ashok Giri, who is a senior principal scientist, CSIR, National Chemical Laboratory, Pune. I'm very glad to introduce Honorable Anupama Vaidya, Independent Board of Director and Advisory Board Member, Organization Design and Reconstruction Specialist. Thank you for coming from Mumbai. Thank you for being here, ma'am, today. I'm very glad to introduce Honorable Sri Sanjay Bhosle, Vice President, ESCON, who represent ESCON Pune. And nobody needs an introduction of Revered Professor Dr. Vishwanath Karad, who is patron of all this what actually you see it here. So I'd like to actually set up few questions, and I hope all the panelists would want to express their thoughts as we move on. So if everybody allows, I would like to get this into, and I would extremely sorry to introduce Dr. Ramesh Date, who has been our eminent speaker, philosopher and thinker, and always a part of School of Consciousness. So I take a pleasure of asking my first session with Dr. Deepak Ranade. When we believe Naneshwari, and Naneshwar always referred that the whole world is one soul. So Dr. Deepak, you're a admit, believer of a Pasayadan. I would like to set up a context of Pasayadan as a prayer to the world.
Thank you, Dr. Jayant, and my salutations to all my colleagues sitting on the dais. Professor Vishwanath Karad, whose vision has made it possible to start this School of Consciousness Studies. To just give a brief idea of the whole logic of this endeavor of School of Consciousness. In 1995, one very famous scientist who was working in this domain of consciousness called David Chalmers, he put up a theory that there are two problems of consciousness. One is the simple problem of consciousness, and there's the hard problem of consciousness. The simple problem, a lot of Western scientists and Western research institutes are actively working on this domain of finding out the answers to the simple problem of consciousness, which talks about the neural networks, which talks about how the connectivity is there between the different parts of the brain to affect consciousness. But the hard problem of consciousness, which talks about the subjective individual experience of every individual being unique, that is a problem which no Western effort is being able to address so far. That is called as a hard problem of consciousness. And in my personal experience and whatever I'm pursuing my PhD in studying this domain of consciousness, I have realized one very important fundamental, that the hard problem of consciousness can only be solved by the help of a mystic approach, which has been provided by Sant Gyaneshwar. And when he talks of Swasamvedya, that is the ability of consciousness to efface itself on its own, only then will we be able to address this hard problem of consciousness. So the entire endeavor by Professor Karad is, when we talk of science and spirituality and India being the leader and the guru for the globe as far as understanding the ultimate reality is concerned, it is our ability to address this hard problem of consciousness, which I'm very, very certain has been very well addressed already by Sant Gyaneshwar in one of his treatises called Sangdev Pasashti, which I'm studying in details, where he talks of telling Sangdeva that there's really no need for me to meet you when the source which is animating you and animating me is the same. And if one can understand the universality of consciousness, that itself will be the salvation for man and mankind also. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Deepak Ranade, for presenting the context of today's session. May I request Dr. Madhuri to put her own context? So I'm requesting everyone to actually put your own context for the consciousness and the need to start consciousness schools.
Respected Dais, Vishwanath Karadji, and all others, audience, august audience. ऐसे बोला जाता है कि मातृभाषा में बात करने से समझ जल्दी आती है. So I'm going to pick up Hindi instead of English और मराठी even, क्योंकि बाहर के जगह से भी लोग आए होंगे तो हिंदी में बोलना ज़्यादा आसान रहेगा. अभी का जो सेशन है उसका टाइटल है नीड टू एस्टैब्लिश स्कूल्स ऑफ कॉन्शियसनेस एंड रियलिटी टू अंडरस्टैंड द एक्सपीरियंस ऑफ अल्टीमेट ट्रुथ दैट इज़ ऑलमाइटी गॉड. जब ये टॉपिक मैंने पढ़ा था तो ध्यान में ये आया कि हमने पिछले कुछ हजार साल से बोल सकते हैं, वी हैव फॉरगॉटन, हम लोग भूल गए हैं अपनी परिवार व्यवस्था को, जो पहली नींव है किसी भी आदमी की उगम की. ऐसे बोला जाता है कि भगवान भी अगर जन्म लेता है तो वो ऐसे ही अवतरित नहीं होता है, उसको भी इस पृथ्वी तल पर आना है तो किसी परिवार के माध्यम से ही जन्म लेना पड़ता है. अनफॉर्चुनेटली हम लोगों ने उस परिवार व्यवस्था को, जो किसी काल में बहुत अच्छी थी, भूलते गए हैं. मेरी हिसाब से नीड टू एस्टैब्लिश कॉन्शियसनेस स्कूल जो है वो और कोई नहीं है, हर किसी का अपना घर है, ये मेरा विश्वास है. अगर हर किसी का घर अच्छा रहेगा तो फिर ऑटोमेटिकली उसमें एक व्यक्ति होती है जिसको सुन करके सारे लोग चलते हैं. मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगा, हमारे पीछे में भी कराड़ जी ने उनकी माँ का फोटो लगाया है, क्योंकि मातृत्व जो है, माँ जो है वो अच्छा बहन है, ओके, बड़ी बहन भी मेरे ख्याल से माँ के जैसी ही होती है. और मुझे याद है कुछ साल पहले मैं जब उनके साथ डायलॉग कर रही थी इसी विषय में तो उन्होंने वही बोला था मुझे कि बड़ी बहन माँ के जैसी, और इसीलिए उनका फोटो लगाया है. सो घर में जो माँ होती है उसी के इर्द गिर्द सारा कुछ चलता रहता है. मैं मेरी टर्मिनोलॉजी में आजकल जो मैं काम करती हूँ उसमें माँ को हर स्कूल की, मैंने उनकी अपनी अपनी स्कूल की प्रिंसिपल बोलती हूँ. तो मदर इज़ अ प्रिंसिपल ऑफ द स्कूल. वो जैसे जैसे संस्कार देती है घर में, जैसे जैसे वो खुद करती है, उसी तरीके से वो फैमिली भी बढ़ती जाती है। ये जो आज के दिन हम लोगों को यहाँ बैठ करके डिस्कशन करने के लिए जो आवश्यकता महसूस होती है, उसका कारण भी है बाहर के संसार में बहुत ज़्यादा कलह है, द्वेष है, बहुत सारी निगेटिविटी भरी हुई है। सो उसका आंसर हम लोग अपने ही घर में, अपने ही पास में अगर ढूंढने का प्रयास करते हैं तो ज़्यादा अच्छा रहेगा, क्योंकि मराठी में जिसको कहते हैं ना, आडातच नहीं तो पोहऱ्यात येणार कुठून। कुएं में ही नहीं है तो घड़े में पानी आएगा कहाँ से जाएगा, ये मेरा अटल विश्वास है। और इसीलिए हमने अपनी जो संस्था है फाउंडेशन फॉर होलिस्टिक डेवलपमेंट, उसका बेस जो पकड़ा है वो मदरहुड, मातृत्व ही पकड़ा है। उसी दिशा में हम लोग काम करते हैं और मुझे ये विश्वास है कि इस तरीके से अगर हम करेंगे तो काफ़ी सारे प्रॉब्लम्स जो है, काफ़ी सारी जो दुविधाएं जो समाज में है वो कम होती जाएगी। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
थैंक यू माधुरी जी, बहुत शुक्रिया, आपने इसको हिंदी में ऐड किया आज। थैंक यू वेरी मच। कैन आई एक्सटेंड दिस टू मिसेस अनुपमा प्लीज?
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm going to start on this beautiful occasion of Navratri by saying a stotra. Sarvamangala Mangalye Shive Sarvatha Sadhake Sharanya Trambake Gauri Narayani Namostute Narayani Namostute Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi. For me, this is a miracle. On Navratri, being here, this itself proves that on a wonderful, vibrant occasion, we are discussing a topic of consciousness and need to establish schools. Respected Professor Dr. Karad, you've really role modeled to us of what it means to really bring to this young generation consciousness all about. In my work that I do, I work with a lot of business leaders. I can see a little bit of restlessness in the youngsters. Friends, one day you all are aspiring to be something in life. And the biggest difference that I see today is the knowledge versus the wisdom. Information informs, B.K. Usha Didi, आपने बहुत अच्छे से बात किया. Knowledge informs, knowledge empowers to a certain extent. But it is only the wisdom which actually makes the entire difference to transform. And the biggest transformation when you grow in life is what's missing today in the educational system. And therefore, both have to coexist. It's like a railway train. You have the bogie, all the bogies are running, but they need to be in cohesive force with the engine. The bogies are the knowledge, the engine is the wisdom. Where is the wisdom coming from? You have a mobile, everyone has a mobile out over here. The mobile is useless without it being charged. It's all only information. The ability to be able to use it properly is what's wisdom. We are listening to so much of global conflicts, personal turmoils, everything put together. Knowing what is a gun, how to use it is knowledge. But whether to use it and not use it is wisdom. So the entire life, as you grow, my dear friends, is all about making choices. Knowledge may empower the information, but may not empower you with the transformation required to make these choices. And therefore, for me, it's very pertinent that we have this combination of knowledge and wisdom both put together. And that's where the schools of consciousness become extremely non-negotiable for each one of us.
Thank you very much. I think very well placed. Can I request this to Dr. Mandar Apte to have your own thoughts?
So, I'm a petroleum engineer. And in order to design a solution, you need to know what is the problem. So the need for consciousness will only be strong when you have studied violence. So violence is of three types. It can be at the level of action, speech, and thought or feelings. So for example, I'm going to tell everyone now to participate in one process. Look at the person next to you. Even my speakers can do it. Look at the person next to you and say to that person, I hate you. Do it. Do it, sir. And the other person will respond, I'm going to beat you. Do it. Karo, participate karo. I hate you. Other person will say, I'll beat you. Were you able to do it? I saw my co-panelist here saying, I hate you. This gives you a clue that when you are conscious, negative behavior drops. You won't be able to do it. Does that make sense? So that is where the study of violence is important if you want to crystallize that yes, we need schools of consciousness. Because violence is growing and it is all not just in Israel and Lebanon. It is in every home. It is in every mind. That is where the study of different types of violence also becomes important. Suicide, depression, anxiety, gang violence, drugs, terrorism, gun violence, all these are different types of violence. And to study the reason for this violence, you will need to study trauma. Because trauma is perpetuating that violence. You cannot avoid the study of trauma. So from my perspective, that need for schools of consciousness, yes, it's there. But you cannot avoid study of violence. Because only that will help you design solutions. And my final question is violence all that bad? Is violence bad? It depends. Especially with my esteemed ISKCON followers here. Your lineage has taught us something. So that is where the choice comes, right? That is what Anupamaji was saying. So this study of the problem will help you design the solution.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mandar Apte, putting this very graciously from as an engineer. Thank you for engineering this context. Can I request Honorable Usha Didi to express a little bit about how did you actually enter into spirituality, what you practice? When was that moment actually led you to decide to do what you do wonderful assignments at your center?
Actually, I'm born in Africa. I studied there, I grew up there. And it happened, so it was Diwali time. And we had a huge celebration during Diwali time. All the Indians used to gather and celebrate the festival together. And there was a young man who had initiated the whole celebration. But just 2 days before the celebration, he met with a car accident. And he died on the spot. And his uncle who had invited him, when he got the news, he had a heart attack. So he also died. So 2 members of the family died together. And the whole celebration turned into a mourning occasion. So we had all gathered together, and there a Brahma Kumari sister had come to give a message on peace, to give the knowledge on soul, consciousness. What is the soul? The immortality of the soul, and how it has just changed this costume. Bhagavad Gita explains very beautifully the concept of the soul and its immortality. And when Arjuna was asked to stabilize himself in his Swadharma, normally people explain to us that Swadharma means he was reminded of his Kshatriya Dharma. But Bhagavad Gita is not for Kshatriyas, it is for everyone, total humanity. So the Swadharma of the soul is something else. So that led me into going deeply what Bhagavad Gita teaches us and what it has to offer. And I realized the beauty of Bhagavad Gita and Mahabharata and the beauty that Maharshi Ved Vyasji, when he wrote Bhagavad Gita, actually, he saw 5,000 years ago the present time and how the psychology would be in the present time. So the characters that he chose, like Duryodhana, दुर्योधना को हम कहते हैं धन का दुरुपयोग करने वाला। स्थूल धन की बात नहीं है, बौद्धिक धन, चारित्रिक धन का दुरुपयोग करना। तो आज से 5000 साल पूर्व वर्तमान समय को देखा था। दुशासना, आज शासन में ऐसे लोग हैं दुशासन करने वाले। Then I saw the beauty के एक एक इंद्रियां, दुर्विमोचन, दुर्बुद्धि, दुर्मुख, दुष्कर्ण, each and every sense organ was filled with that deceit, दुष्टता। और धृतराष्ट्र के राष्ट्र को भी जब अंधापन कैप्चर करता है, मेंटल और इमोशनल अंधापन, जब व्यक्ति अहंकार में अंधा हो जाता है, जब व्यक्ति स्वार्थ में अंधा हो जाता है, तो राष्ट्र की हालत क्या हो सकती है, जो आज प्रैक्टिकल दुनिया के अंदर हम सभी देखते हैं। ऐसे समय पर ही भगवत गीता की आवश्यकता है, ऐसे समय पर ही ये कॉन्शियसनेस को जागृत करने की आवश्यकता है, क्योंकि आज आत्मा की बैटरी डिस्चार्ज हो गई है। इसलिए सब विकृति चारों तरफ दिखाई देती है। तो आत्मा की बैटरी को चार्ज करने के लिए वो भगवत शक्ति जो सोर्स है, उसी से अपने आप को जोड़ना, उस जोड़ने को कहा जाता है योग। और उस योग से ही आत्मा की बैटरी जब चार्ज होने लगती है, तब हम अपने जीवन को अनेक प्रकार की इस दुष्टता से मुक्त कर सकते हैं, पांडव सही अर्थ में बन सकते हैं। 100 कौरव माना आज की दुनिया 100% अगर लिया जाए, उसमें खाली 5% अच्छे लोग हैं जो पुनः विजय प्राप्त करेंगे दुष्टता के ऊपर और भारत को विश्व गुरु बनाएंगे।
Thank you. So thank you, Usha Didi. I think you also put this into a gist that this 5% of people who have consciousness can probably bring this impact in 95% of people who probably are not conscious today. So thank you for sharing your personal story. When we speak about Dhaneshwar, sir always like to speak about Einstein. And Einstein has very rightly said that science without religion is lame and religion without science is blind. So in this context, I would like to come to engineer turned philosopher, Honorable Ramesh Dateji, to express, the interface between science and spirituality.
Thank you very much. I have a different opinion. Everything is conscious. So you don't have to teach consciousness to anybody. The main problem with consciousness is it is a very different thing. It exists everywhere, but it is covered with lot of other things, and what you have to learn is how to uncover the things which hide the consciousness. In Ishavasya Upanishad, it is described very nicely that consciousness is hidden in a golden ornamental like a pot, and you have to uncover its face to understand the consciousness. What is the difference? In our day-to-day life, we use lot of tools to live. Say, for your livelihood, you need lot of tools. If you are an artist, you need instruments for artists. You need knowledge how to use that. But consciousness is such a different thing that you have to learn how to throw away the tools you use. Now, the most common tools we have as a human being is our body, our senses, our mind, and our intellect, and our ego. All these things help us for living. But consciousness is an existence. Existence doesn't need anything for its existence. So what you have to learn is how to throw away your attachment with the body, your attachment with the senses, your attachment with the mind, and attachment with the intellect and ego. So a school is needed to teach these things, how to throw away the equipments you use in your daily life to achieve what you are. You all are, we all are, including from atom to the human beings, all are conscious. But they are covered. The consciousness is covered by something. And a school is needed to teach how to uncover the consciousness. Thank you.
Thank you, Ramesh sir. You have been always in guiding principles to our school, and you can actually speak hours on this actually topic. I would request now to Dr. Ramesh Date, who is an eminent philosopher and thinker of ISKCON Temple, to express his thoughts about what they do.
हरे कृष्णा। तो मेरे दो शब्द बोलने के पहले मैं एक छोटी सी प्रार्थना करूंगा। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। तो सबसे पहले मैं विश्वनाथ जी कराड़ सर, जिनको मैं 3 दिन पहले ही उनके ऑफिस में मिला था, और इन्होंने अपने ऑफिस में मुझे एक वीडियो दिखाया था जिसमें सर ने 130 साल पहले स्वामी विवेकानंद ने जिस हॉल में पहला भाषण दिया था, माय ब्रदर्स एंड सिस्टर्स वाला वो स्टोरी हम सबको पता है, उसी हॉल में विश्वनाथ कराड़ सर का एक बड़ा सम्मान वहाँ किया गया। और ये 130 साल के बाद घटना घटी थी कि एक भारतीय व्यक्ति को जिस हॉल में स्वामी विवेकानंद को आदर सम्मान दिया था, उसी हॉल में हमारे सर जो है विश्वनाथ सर, उनको आदर सम्मान मिला है। उस दिन मैं सर को बोल रहा था कि ये सम्मान सर सिर्फ ये हमारे भारतीयों का सम्मान है, हमारे सबका सम्मान है। और सर की, विश्वनाथ सर की भावना तो ये थी कि ये सम्मान संत श्रेष्ठ ज्ञानेश्वर महाराज की है। हमें पता है कि मॉडर्न एजुकेशन हमें स्किल्स देता है, वैदिक एजुकेशन हमें कैरेक्टर देता है। मॉडर्न एजुकेशन हमें डायनामिज्म देता है, वैदिक एजुकेशन हमें विजडम देता है। मॉडर्न एजुकेशन हमें विजय देगा, वैदिक एजुकेशन हमें विनयशीलता देगा। मॉडर्न एजुकेशन प्रभाव के बारे में बताएगा, वैदिक एजुकेशन कारण के बारे में बताएगा। मॉडर्न एजुकेशन तंत्र और यंत्र के बारे में सिखाएगा, वैदिक एजुकेशन मंत्र के बारे में सिखाएगा। हमारे एक स्वामी थे, स्वामी गौरांग जी करके, और वो ब्रिटेन से, मतलब लंदन से फ्लाइट से किसी दूसरे शहर में जा रहे थे, और वो फ्लाइट में अपना जप कर रहे थे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। और तब उसी फ्लाइट में एक शराब पीकर एकदम पीक पे गया हुआ व्यक्ति जोर जोर से चिल्लाने लगा, और गौरांग स्वामी के बाजू में एक लंदन की ब्रिटेन की एक महिला बैठी थी, और वो गौरांग स्वामी को बोली कि आपके मंत्र के द्वारा इस शराब पीने वाले को कंट्रोल करो। आप जो चैंटिंग कर रहे हैं, इस चैंटिंग के द्वारा इस शराब पिए हुआ आदमी को कंट्रोल करो। तो स्वामी गौरांग जी ने बहुत सुंदर उत्तर दिया। उन्होंने बोला कि आई एम चैंटिंग फॉर कंट्रोलिंग माई सेल्फ। मैं मेरे जप मेरे स्वयं को नियंत्रित करने के लिए कर रहा हूं। सो मॉडर्न एजुकेशन हमें बाह्य नियंत्रण करने की कला सिखाएगा, लेकिन वैदिक एजुकेशन हमें स्वयं पर नियंत्रण लाने की कला सिखाएगा। तो ये बहुत महत्वपूर्ण है, क्योंकि अभी हमें पता है कि टेक्नोलॉजी का कई जगह अलग अलग जगह उपयोग हो रहा है, और ये करते समय उस टूल का पीछे का उद्देश्य भी हमें समझना चाहिए। चाकू का उपयोग हमें सब्जी काटने के लिए भी होता है, लेकिन किसी का गला काटने के लिए भी होता है। तो उद्देश्य सही होना चाहिए। मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि हमारा वैदिक एजुकेशन जो है वो हमें बहुत सही उद्देश्य जीवन का दिखाता है। तो एक 360 एस्पेक्ट ऑफ लाइफ मतलब क्या? तो वन शुड बी सोशली सेंसिटिव, पॉलिटिकली अलर्ट एंड स्पिरिचुअली एब्जॉर्ब। सामाजिक संवेदनशीलता हमें रामायण से मिलती है, राजकीय जागरूकता हमें महाभारत सिखाता है, और आध्यात्मिक तन्मयता हमें श्रीमद् भागवतम सिखाता है। रामायण हमें सामाजिक संवेदनशीलता सिखाता है और सिखाता है हाउ टू लिव। महाभारत हमें राजकीय जागरूकता सिखाता है और सिखाता है हाउ टू लीड। और श्रीमद् भागवतम हमें आध्यात्मिक तन्मयता सिखाता है और वो सिखाता है हाउ टू लव। 360 एस्पेक्ट ऑफ लाइफ, लिव, लीड एंड लव। यही भगवान कृष्ण ने गीता के ऊपर ज्ञान दिया कुरुक्षेत्र में, और यही 700 गीता के श्लोक हमें यही दिशा देते हैं। और आज इस डोम में मुझे इतना आनंद लग रहा है कि हमें यहाँ उपस्थित सब जो अलग अलग स्टैचूज है, आगे जाकर उन संतों का सिर्फ नाम भी लिया तो भी हमारे जीवन में भक्तिभाव पैदा होगा। एक एक संत ने एक एक गीत लिखा है। कृष्ण ने 700 श्लोकों का गीत लिखा था, तो हमारे संत श्रेष्ठ तुकाराम महाराज जी ने विट्ठल के ऊपर 4500 अभंग सिर्फ 42 वर्ष के आयु में लिखे। अपने 16 वर्ष के आयु में संत श्रेष्ठ ज्ञानेश्वर महाराज, इन्होंने 9,500 अभंग लिखे हैं। संत चोकामड़ा, उन्होंने 365 अभंग लिखे हैं। गुरु ग्रंथ साहिबा में संत नामदेव ने 63 अभंग लिखे हैं। तो ये सब अभंग, ये गीता, ये भागवत, ये हमारे भारत की विरासत है, ये हमारे भारत की वारसा है। तो इसलिए हमें पता है कि इजराइल का स्पेशलाइजेशन है एग्रीकल्चर, जापान जर्मन का स्पेशलाइजेशन है ऑटोमोबाइल सेक्टर, और हमारे भारतीय लोगों का स्पेशलाइजेशन है स्पिरिचुअलिटी। मुझे बहुत आनंद हो रहा है कि आज MIT में इस प्रकार का विज्ञान के साथ अध्यात्म का प्रयोग किया जा रहा है। जब सिर्फ विज्ञान की बात आती है तब एक्सपेरिमेंट यानी थ्योरी की बात आती है, जब स्पिरिचुअलिटी की बात आती है तब थ्योरी और रिलीजन की बात आती है। और ये दोनों चीजें विश्वनाथ कराड़ सर ने आज यहाँ लाया है। सभी संस्थाओं को हमें सर ने आमंत्रित किया। मैं सर को धन्यवाद दूंगा। हरे कृष्णा।
Thank you, Sanjay ji. Very well put. Your quotations very apt to the session today. While we know that whole world has one soul, I would like to disagree on this because I have here Dr. Ashok Giri. We still are puzzled actually what was the purpose of formation of a universe and how did it actually formed it. We are not able to understand it. So there is also other word, that's a plant sciences, bacteria, as we say that even a single cell has its own consciousness and often it might actually have a disformation. Ashok has been working in a plant sciences. So Ashok, I would like to know from you, does plants have consciousness? Does actually smallest of the species on the earth, who is the basis and genesis of our life, do have a consciousness?
Yeah. Thank you, Jayant, for giving my introduction. I would like to start with Om Shanti, and of course, thank you to Vishwarajbaug Karad for bringing such a subject for a discussion. So I would like to put consciousness into perspective, The one perspective is more of scientific way that what we look, and the other perspective is how, as a human, we interpret it. So I will try to finish in maybe 2 to 3 minutes. So when I was asked to give a talk on consciousness and realities and why it is really needed, such science has to be studied. So when I was thinking, when this Mother Earth was born, and then when actually the life started, so there were a lot of reactions were happening on this earth. When a small part of sun fell somewhere. And that's how the Mother Earth has been born. So the molecules, I feel the molecules, and especially for the student community, I would like to mention that molecules, in my opinion, not only cells, but molecules has the consciousness. And why I will explain you, because the molecules are intelligent. Scientific community has accepted that molecules are smart and intelligent. And I believe if you wanted to be a smart or intelligent, you need to be a consciousness. And all the life, for example, what we see today, from bacteria to human, all life is, what is it? Basically, it is a molecules. Billions of molecules are there with us. And how we train these molecules decides the personality. And I will give you a small example. As Vishwanathji always mentioned, that cell is important. So yes, of course, cell is important, but if you can imagine, one cell differentiate into several organs. So DNA is the same, but how this DNA is expressed and how these molecules becomes conscious, how these molecules controls these reactions, actually builds the human body. And the way we talk about consciousness is probably in a different perspective, but I would like to mention, at least in this great hall, that how we can train these molecules to become a real consciousness. And Sattva Dhaneshwara is the best example for that matter. And I see as a scientist, a great scientist in, I will say in the Sattva Dhaneshwara. All of you know, or some of you might know, that when you want to identify the plant, the most important character is a flower. And that was discovered in 18th century. And that is what we called him as a father of taxonomy, Carl Linnaeus. But look back our history and our literature. Sant Dhaneshwara said in 13th century, झाडे ओळखावी फुले, झाडे ओळखावी फुले, जन ओळखावे बोले. So I don't know, I gave this talk in a taxonomy conference, and I said, you need to decide who is the father of taxonomy. Sant Dhaneshwara said in 13th century, if you want to identify the plant, झाडे ओळखावे फुले. Now, we never looked into the scientific aspect of it. So how we train these molecules, I think a lot has been talked about Sant Dhaneshwara. But I would like to really bring one point and then end my discussion. So as all of you know, if somebody gets angry, a more elderly person or more experienced person goes to make the person cool. You know, Sant Dhaneshwara was a great philosopher. I don't have to introduce in this hall. Everybody knows, but when he gets upset because of some reason, and he puts his door closed, and that time, Muktabai, his younger sister, comes and tells something, and which I always inspired when I was in 3rd or 4th standard. I learned this, and still I feel what a great molecule she has trained in herself. And what she says, it is in Marathi, so some people might not understand, but you should really see this. She says, Aho krodh yave kote. Aho krodh yave kote, jagi apana nikote. Aho krodh yave kote, jagi apana nigote. जीब दातानी चावली कोणी बत्तीशी ताडली. जीब दातानी चावली कोणी बत्तीशी ताडली. थोर दुखावले मन पुढे उदंड शहाणे. थोर दुखावले मन पुढे उदंड शहाणे. चणे खावे लोखंडाचे मग ब्रह्मपदी नाचे. चणे खावे लोखंडाचे मग ब्रह्मपदी नाचे. मन मानून उन्मन करा ताटी उडत ज्ञानेश्वरा. So this gives me so much inspiration that what a literature, what a kind of thoughts a 12-year girl tells to her brother not to get upset because you have to do a great karmas. You have to do, and you are already doing it. And that is what I feel. We need to understand this consciousness, how we can train these molecules. Because I work on enzymes, I work on small molecules, and I know that how these molecules control the several reactions in the body. So that means how we can control that consciousness, and that's why I strongly believe that the school, which was probably the first in India, started by Vishwarajbaug, School of Consciousness and Reality. I think these molecules needs to be studied, how they become a conscious, whether it is DNA or whether it is RNA or whether it is a protein or whether it is a small molecule. I feel this is going to bring a lot of innovations, a lot of new things that we as a human being can understand what is a consciousness. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashok, for bringing actually the code of life is DNA. And I would like to have a quick comments from you. I'm going to ask a very say a question which might be little sensitive at this point of a time, but that's what is the purpose, one of an objective of a school of a consciousness. Then when everything is evolving, probably the humanity is the most stable by Darwin's law or the nature over there. I would again go back to Dr. Deepak. In a modern world, how do you feel that, the leaders, politicians, scientists have a role in actually stabilizing this whole world, which is actually going in a turmoil now? So what is your comment on this? And what school of science consciousness can actually, impart its role? A very quick round. It's a very important and relevant question in light of what is the geopolitical situation prevalent in the globe right now. I think if we understand and study consciousness and really understand its true purport, we will first and foremost be able to shift our focus from religion to spirituality, which is, I think, the most important thing that needs to be done. Because most of the unrest or wars or disruptions in the world are because of what we might call as an anthropomorphic understanding of God. So everyone's understanding of God is having its own connotation, and then hence there's so much of differences of opinion, religious sects, orders. One very beautiful thing which I feel we should understand, that there is definitely beauty in diversity. There's no denying that. But even more beautiful is if we can understand the unity that is the foundation of this diversity. And if we can understand the unity of the foundation as the foundation of this diversity, then rather than asserting our own separateness, our own uniqueness, we can celebrate our common foundation and understand that we have a common source. And if we have that common source, then I think it will be the end of all the differences of opinion and wars and misunderstandings. And I think there alone, if we can come down to what, like Santa Dhaneshwar, whom I'm a great ardent devotee of, just to introduce, concluding my statement, science has always gone by reductionism. It is always trying to find out what is smaller than the molecule, what is smaller than the atom, what is subatomic. Then came the advent of quantum physics, which tried to understand what are the rules governing the quantum subatomic world. I had the privilege of even visiting the CERN Large Hadron Collider. But at the end of the day, we still don't get answers as to whose brain was it to start this to talk of hadrons or electrons or quarks. There's no understanding of that. So eventually, even science is now surrendering and offering its total salutations to a sort of a mystical force. And that mystical force is probably what India can explain to the world, which we call as Satchidanand, which is the source of this entire creation. And when we talk of the Upanishadic truths, I firmly believe in that if the world is not a creation, but it is a manifestation of a Brahma. If I understand and if I can convince the world that we are just a manifestation of an underlying unity called Brahma, I think it will be the beginning of the elevation and transcending of the humankind to a super-conscious status where there will be peace and universal bliss. Thank you. Thank you, Deepak. I think, breaking of electrons led to a lot of, good things to the society, but it also started devastations, and we know it. Madhuri ji, aapka keynote statements.
इसी टॉपिक पर ना, मुझे ऐसे लगता है कि हर व्यक्ति को अगर अपने अंदर की परा और अपरा शक्ति और उसमें अंतर, इसका रियलाइजेशन हो जाता है, और वो आज नहीं तो कल, कल नहीं तो परसों होगा पक्का, कम से कम मरते समय तो पक्का ही होगा। ये जब हो जाता है, और वो जल्दी कैसे लाना है, इसके लिए नीड ऑफ स्कूल ऑफ कॉन्शियसनेस। और वो आज भी मैं कहती हूँ कि वो फैमिली के माध्यम से जितना अच्छी तरीके से जाता है। एक एग्जांपल देती हूँ उसके लिए। निर्भया केस जो हुई थी, कुछ ही लोग उसमें इन्वॉल्व थे। हमारे बच्चे क्यों नहीं ऐसे केसेस में इन्वॉल्व होते हैं? कभी हमने सोचा है? कभी फैमिलीज की एनवायरनमेंट पर कभी स्टडी किया है? कभी नहीं किया है। फिर से मैं बोल रही हूँ कि फैमिली एज अ इंस्टीट्यूशन, समाज की जो ब्रिक होती है, किसी बिल्डिंग की जैसे ब्रिक होती है, वैसे पूरे समाज की फैमिली इज अ ब्रिक। उसके ऊपर में कभी भी कंपैरेटिव स्टडी हुआ नहीं है। मेरे तो इसमें नहीं है, रिसर्च पेपर्स मैंने भी पढ़े हुए हैं, नहीं है। सो इसकी कहीं ना कहीं आवश्यकता है, ऐसे लगता है। और वो कौन तैयार करता है? फैमिली कौन तैयार करता है? तो फैमिली मेंबर्स तैयार करते हैं। उनके अंदर में जब इस सारी सब्जेक्ट्स के बारे में डिटेल में नहीं, मालूमात भी होगा, जानकारी होगी कि देयर इज समथिंग, फिर भी वो बहुत अच्छी तरीके से फैमिली को ग्रो कर सकते हैं। और फिर जो हम लोगों को एक पीसफुल सोसाइटी की आशा कर रहे हैं, वो हो जाएगी, ऐसे मुझे लगता है। उसके बिना मेरे ख्याल से हर कोई अपना अपना प्रवास तो करता रहता है, लेकिन किसी नर्सरी के बच्चे को हमने ग्रेजुएशन की स्टडी दी, ये सारे जो टॉपिक हम लोग कर रहे हैं स्पिरिचुअलिटी के बारे में, अध्यात्म के बारे में, जिसको बेसिक जानकारी है वो उसमें एक स्टेप ऊपर जा सकता है। जिसको बेसिक्स ही पता नहीं है, उसको आगे का कैसे पता चलेगा? सोसाइटी में आज वो स्थिति है। हमारी सोसाइटी में, सोसाइटी केवल यहाँ बैठे हुए लोगों की नहीं है, बहुत वास्ट है। और हर किसी को जब ये सारी नॉलेज कानों पर पड़ेगी, कानों पर कहाँ से पड़ेगी? तो घर के स्टोरीज के माध्यम से पड़ेगी, जो डिस्कशन होता है उसके माध्यम से बचपन से पड़ेगी। फिर वो खुद की अपनी इंटरेस्ट ले करके आगे बढ़ता जाएगा उसी रोड पर। सो ये जो हम लोग एक इंजीनियरिंग या ऐसे किसी इंस्टीट्यूशन में आने के पहले हम लोग एक क्या उसकी कौन सी टेस्ट बोलते हैं, जो एंटरप्रेन्योर होना है, डॉक्टर होना है, एप्टीट्यूड टेस्ट, वैसे एप्टीट्यूड टेस्ट के जैसा ही मुझे ऐसे लगता है ये होना चाहिए। और उसके लिए हर किसी की ग्रेड समझ में आनी चाहिए। ग्रेड समझ में आने के लिए उतना अवेयरनेस लोगों के बीच में होना चाहिए, और वो और कोई नहीं करने वाला है, हम ही लोग करने वाले हैं। जो जागरूक लोग यहाँ पर बैठे हैं, हम ही सारे लोग अगर अपने आसपास के लोगों को ये सारे पूछते हैं, करते हैं, बताते हैं, अवेयरनेस लाने का प्रयास करते हैं, तो आज नहीं तो कल, कल नहीं तो परसों जरूर वो दिन जो हम लोग वेट कर रहे हैं, वसुधैव कुटुंबकम का, विश्व शांति का, वसुधैव पूरा विश्व एक कुटुंब के जैसा रहेगा, उसके बारे में हम सफल हो सकते हैं, ऐसे लगता है।
तो MITWPU हमेशा शिक्षित नहीं लेकिन सुशिक्षित विद्यार्थी पैदा करने का कोशिश करता है।
सुशिक्षित से भी सुसंस्कारित बोल सकते हैं। शिक्षा नहीं होगी, सुसंस्कार होना बहुत जरूरी है।
थैंक यू। अनुपमा जी, आप कैन यू प्लीज पुट योर।
बैठे बैठे यहाँ पे बहुत डीप थॉट्स गेन कर रही हूँ मैं। I'll only like to say कि let me go back to say why we need to experience the Almighty God, okay? And the geopolitical situations जो हमारे सामने पोज होती है, क्या ये लीडर्स अगर उनको ये पता चलता था, this consciousness that we are talking about, if everything fell into place, they would understand why we are here. If you look at the universe, okay, पूरा universe देखेंगे तो हम एक जीव मात्र है. Even if we live 100 years, that's nothing compared to what this universe is all about. और वो sense of purpose जब तक हर एक person को नहीं समझता है, जोपर्यंत कळत नाही तोपर्यंत वळत नाही, right? जब पता चलेगा तभी हम उस पे action ले लेंगे. And for that, the fundamental values of respect, courage, resilience, fairness, empathy, compassion, they're very, very critical. It's the right side of the brain. Doctor sir, आप neurosurgeon हो, so forgive me. But in a bit of my work, left side में आपका structure और result orientation है, लेकिन right side में आपका empathy है, आपका out of the box thinking है. अगर ये पूरा का पूरा इकट्ठा brain चालू रहेगा, then only will we find peace. And I think so the geopolitical leaders need to go back to schools of consciousness and reality. It's high time that we call for action. Absolutely.
Thank you. Since you mentioned about geopolitical component and Dr. Mandar Apte, who is probably going to vote in his own country very soon, how can you bring this to politicians to learn all this, actually? How can you engineer this thought in politicians, especially in your current country?
I started with working with gang leaders. In Los Angeles, as you know, it is the birthplace of gangs. So politicians are also gang leaders. So you can learn a lot from the real gangsters and apply those learnings to the real gang leaders. See, the value of light is when there is darkness, isn't it? Otherwise, there is no value of light. So value of peace is through when there is higher rays of violence in the world. What happens is, we watch it, but we are desensitized. We are immune. We say, ये मेरे साथ नहीं होगा, ये मेरे बच्चों के साथ नहीं होगा. इधर हम गलती करते हैं, because पूरा दुनिया connected है. जैसे इस साल, this year, in the first 3 months, 15 Indian American students in the United States have been violently murdered, have committed suicide, and have had drug overdose. We are sending our children for educational purposes to a country which is prosperous, but only prosperity is not enough. What will you do with the gold? If you're having a golden bed, but you're not able to sleep because your money is stuck in the stock market. So I think that is where we have to realize the value of the knowledge that we all are speaking. But the value will only be realized when you apply it. When you make other people who need it, you go to them and you show the value. That is when you will also realize what power we are sitting on. Otherwise, peace की बात करके क्या फायदा है? अगर आप students हो अभी, आपने ये सोचना चाहिए मेरा life का purpose क्या है? Ultimate reality is part of the discussion, no? What is the ultimate reality? I'm going to die. It's the ultimate reality. What am I doing? That question we have to ask every few months. कर क्या रहा हूँ मैं? मेरा time तो जा रहा है. So that is where, you know, this word purpose, you have to repurpose your own life at every point of time.
Thank you. So can I request Usha Didi to give a message to our students, actually, how they'll come there. How to balance their, you know, and expectations of life in coming days versus balance, actually, you know, discipline versus that peace in mind.
भाई लॉस एंजलिस की बात कर रहे थे और उन्होंने कहा कि वैल्यू तभी रियलाइज होगी जब वायलेंस हो या एक्सट्रीम्स हो. लेकिन एक प्रयोग हुआ था जापान में, और जापान में ये प्रयोग किया गया था कि एक कंपनी में जिसको भी गुस्सा आता है किसी के ऊपर, चाहे उनके बॉस के ऊपर, चाहे उनके कलीग के ऊपर, तो वहाँ पर एनवायरनमेंट खराब करने के बजाय एक कमरा बनाया था नीचे बेसमेंट में. वहाँ एक बूथ रखा था और कहा जाकर के गुस्सा निकाल के आओ, चाहे बॉस के ऊपर, चाहे कलीग के ऊपर, जिसके उसको बूथ को ये समझो कि ये है. तो पहले देखा गया 15 दिन में लोग एक बार जाते थे, लेकिन फिर धीरे धीरे फ्रीक्वेंसी बढ़ती गई. 10 दिन में जाने लगे, 5 दिन में जाने लगे, 3 दिन में जाने लगे, और फिर क्यों लगती थी उस रूम में जाने के लिए, तो ये संस्कार की बात है, वो संस्कार बढ़ता जाता है। जब जापानीज ने ये देखा कि दिस इज नॉट वर्किंग, इट इज गेटिंग वर्स्ट, तो फिर उन्होंने नीचे बेसमेंट में मेडिटेशन रूम बना दिया और कहा जब भी आपको गुस्सा आए आप नीचे जाओ, मेडिटेशन करो, मेक योर माइंड साइलेंट, और साइलेंस करके आप अपने मन को उस शांति में ले जाओ और फॉरगिव करो। जिससे भी प्रॉब्लम है उसको फॉरगिव करना शुरू करो। तो देखा गया कि पहले लोग जो रोज जाते थे, धीरे धीरे फ्रीक्वेंसी कम होने लगी और फिर कोई नहीं जाता था। भावार्थ ये कि वायलेंस समझते समझते कहीं ऐसा न हो कि हमारे अंदर भी वो वायलेंस, क्योंकि कहा जाता है एज यू थिंक सो यू बिकम, जैसा चिंतन वैसा जीवन। तो इसीलिए हम अपने स्टूडेंट्स को, आने वाली जनरेशन को पॉजिटिव बातें दें, और पॉजिटिव बातें देते हुए उनके माइंड को जितना पॉजिटिवली फंक्शन कर सके, एक दिशा यही मिले, तो जरूर है कि आने वाले समय में भविष्य उनका उज्जवल होगा। क्योंकि ये हम सभी जानते हैं कि आने वाले समय में तनाव के कारण बढ़ेंगे, परिस्थितियां बढ़ेगी, ये सब बढ़ेगी, लेकिन ऐसे समय में अगर मेरी स्थिति शांति की होगी, आनंद की होगी, वो वाइब्रेशंस जितने हम फैलाएंगे तो शायद वो एक्सट्रीम्स जो है वो कंट्रोल्ड हो जाएगा, शांत हो जाएगा, और हम एक बेटर फ्यूचर आने वाले समय के लिए भी क्रिएट कर सकेंगे। यही कॉन्शियसनेस की जो बात है कि इसकी आवश्यकता इसलिए है कि आज हमें अपने जीवन के अंदर भी जो विकृतियां हैं उन विकृतियों के ऊपर विजय प्राप्त करना है, और विजय प्राप्त करके सच्चा पांडव बनने की आवश्यकता है। कौरव न बने, कौरवों के साथी न बने, पांडव बने। पांडव इसीलिए 5 दिखाए गए, 5%, 1% है युधिष्ठिर, कि कितनी भी टर्मोइल हो, स्थिर बुद्धि, बैलेंस स्टेट ऑफ माइंड को लेके चलो, जब आप आध्यात्मिकता को लेकर के चलेंगे। भीम स्ट्रॉन्ग विल पावर को लेकर के चलो। आजकल युग में लोगों के कॉन्फिडेंस लेवल कम हो रहा है, आध्यात्मिकता उनके जीवन के अंदर विल पावर को बढ़ाएगा। अर्जुन जो पॉजिटिव बातों को अर्जन करने वाला है, ग्रहण करने वाला है, बिकम अर्जुन, हर पॉजिटिव बात को ग्रहण करना सीखो। नकुल, जीवन में नियम और सिद्धांत की आवश्यकता है, उसी से अपने जीवन को चलाओ। और 5वां सहदेव, हर अच्छे कार्य में सहयोग देना आरंभ करो। ऐसे जब पांडव बनेंगे, क्योंकि मैंने ये 5 क्वालिटीज हमारे करार सर में देखी, स्थिर बुद्धि है, स्ट्रॉन्ग विल पावर है, अच्छी बातों को ग्रहण करना वो जानते हैं, नियमों से चलते हैं, सिद्धांतों से जीवन जीते हैं, और हर अच्छे कार्य में सहयोग देते हैं। तो अपने व्यक्तित्व को, अपने पर्सनैलिटी को अगर ऐसे बनाएंगे तो आने वाले समय में हर युद्ध में, हर संघर्ष में विजयी होंगे ही, ये गारंटी है। यही सब।
So nice. So let me come, Dr. Mandar, from left-hand side to engineering. We also have one engineer on right-hand side. Dr. Date.
Yeah, thank you. There are 2 things. One is looking at a thing by parts, and other is looking at a thing as a whole. Now the conflict arises between parts. There cannot be any conflict if a whole exists. So what thing we have to learn is that this physical body is not the only existence. There is a subtle body behind this gross body, The gross body comes and goes, maybe in 100 years, less than 100 years, but subtle body remains till the universe or the concept of the universe remains. So you exist as a subtle body for a very long period, just like a universe. And when you have to, as a pure consciousness is beyond the subtle body and the gross body. But not considering what consciousness is, we can concentrate on a relative consciousness, and we should not think as my body is different from your body, my family is different from your family, my nation is different from your family. You see, all these arise due to the language. But language arose only 1 lakh years in the past. What was there? Was not there a solar system beyond this, say, 1 million years? The solar system exists for 5.5 billion years. The universe exists for 13.7 billion years. So the existence is there, and all this existence was a whole one unity. By language, we divide it in pieces, and that is one basic obstruction which is created by the human beings by their language. And we have to understand that there is a basic unity in the universe. You have to forget the differences created by the language. And so Upanishad says it very well, that all this description or variety or the divisions are due to the uses of language. But forget the language. Remember that the universe is 13.7 billion years old. The Earth and solar system is a few billion years old, and that is a whole existence. The solar system doesn't distinguish between a sun and an Earth, or the planet and a sun. There is no difference. So we have to learn thinking as a whole, and then only these conflicts will go. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. So we speak about so many philosophers, right? Are we going to practice the same that philosophy has been actually embedded? But I would request Sanjay, since you practice one philosophy, we have a great philosopher, sir, here, and you want to express something about sir.
Great. Yes. तो अभी जस्ट सर ने पूछा कि हम देखते हैं कि हमारे गीता, भागवत, रामायण, ये जो अलग अलग ग्रंथ है, जिसमें भगवत गीता में एक चीज़ देखा गया तो उसमें व्हाट टू डू नहीं लिखा है, इसमें व्हाई टू डू लिखा है, क्योंकि हमारे कार्य के पीछे का उद्देश्य ये कार्य अच्छा या बुरा ये कर लेता है। तो इसलिए मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि ये शास्त्र है, और इसी में इस्कॉन के जो फाउंडर आचार्य श्रील प्रभुपाद है, जिन्होंने भगवत गीता, भागवत, रामायण, इसका प्रचार पूरे विश्व में 176 कंट्रीज और 1800 मंदिर के माध्यम से किया, उन्होंने बहुत एक अच्छा सेंटेंस लिखा है कि फिलॉसफी विदाउट रिलीजन इज मेंटल स्पेकुलेशन, एंड रिलीजन विदाउट फिलॉसफी इज अ सेंटिमेंटलिज्म, फैनेटिज्म। सो हमें एक समझना चाहिए कि एक दूसरे के, एक ही कॉइन के दो बाजू है। विज्ञान करते समय हमें भावनाओं का कदर रखना पड़ेगा, क्योंकि कुरुक्षेत्र का युद्ध ये सिर्फ कौरव और पांडवों का युद्ध नहीं था, ये युद्ध बुद्धि और भावनाओं का युद्ध था। अर्जुन ने जब द्रोणाचार्य और भीष्म को देखा, तब उसके मन में उसका स्वभाव कहने लगा कि इनके प्रति तो मुझे आदर है, प्रेम है। लेकिन जब दुर्योधन और दुशासन को देखा, तब उसका स्वधर्म कहने लगा कि इनके साथ तो युद्ध करना पड़ेगा। तो यहाँ भगवान श्री कृष्ण ने ना स्वधर्म की बात की, ना स्वभाव की बात की, भगवान ने उसके स्वरूप की बात की। कि हमें पता है कि ये मॉडर्न एजुकेशन पदार्थ के बारे में बात करता है, लेकिन आध्यात्मिक तत्वज्ञान ये परमात्मा के बारे में बात करता है, आत्मा के बारे में बात करता है। मैं कौन हूँ, मैं कहाँ से हूँ, मैं कहाँ हूँ, मैं कब तक रहूँगा और मुझे क्या करना है। परमात्मा, जीवात्मा, प्रकृति, काल और कर्म के बारे में गीता में लिखा है। और मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि गीता एक डिसीजन बुक है, ये इंस्ट्रक्शन बुक नहीं है, क्योंकि वो व्हाट टू डू नहीं सिखाता, व्हाई टू डू सिखाता है। और इसीलिए ये ज्ञान हमें लेना चाहिए कि जब व्हाई टू डू सीखते हैं तो सभी के प्रति हम प्रेम और आदर की भावना करेंगे। सभी को सम्मान करेंगे। जब हम परमात्मा के साथ जुड़ते हैं तब प्रकृति के साथ जुड़ना चाहिए, पशु पक्षियों के साथ भी जुड़ना चाहिए और परस्पर में भी हमारा व्यवहार अच्छा होना चाहिए।
Thank you, Sanjay ji. And I request Ashok to have his short, brief ending notes.
So thank you again. I just wanted to give a couple of messages. As he started, Atesar started that we need to not worry about the language, but universe or nature uses only one language, and that is the chemical language. And that we need to understand in all perspective. The most important thing I would like to tell the students, like how, I mean, we become a consciousness and we are all talking about all the philosophies and so on. In my opinion, it is very important that we should at least keep ourselves 10 minutes in a day. And we should talk to ourselves. In modern era or even current time, I think we have lost that talking to ourselves. And that will bring a great consciousness to yourself. And I think all of you, I keep telling my students also that you need to be, at least give 10 minutes for yourself and just think, what did you do today? What was wrong? What was right? And then try to improve. The second message that I just wanted to give you, I was reading one book, I don't remember the name, but it was written very nicely, की राजापेक्षा साम्राज्य मोठे असते. राजापेक्षा साम्राज्य मोठे असते आणि साम्राज्यापेक्षा संस्कृती मोठी असते. राजापेक्षा साम्राज्य मोठे असते आणि साम्राज्यापेक्षा संस्कृती मोठी असते. मला असं वाटतं आज विश्वनाथ कराडजीने जे संस्कृती तयार केली आहे ती चिरकाळ टिकणारी आहे. आपलं त्यांचं जे स्वप्न आहे की आपण विश्वगुरू बनू, मला असं वाटतं की डेफिनेटली वी आर ऑन द वे अँड आय थिंक होल वर्ल्ड विल कम टू इंडिया अँड आय सी दॅट काइंड ऑफ सायन्स ॲक्च्युली ऑलरेडी देअर इन होल वर्ल्ड. सो विथ दिस आय वुड लाईक टू थँक फॉर whole of the organizing team to giving me this opportunity, and it was very pleasant, lot of learning from this session.
Thank you very much to all the honorable panelists. I'm not sure whether we justified actually this discussion for last 1.5 hours, but it was wonderful time to, have your views here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Dr. Jayant Khandare, sir, for wonderfully and thoughtfully initiating the panel discussion. Thank you, esteemed guest, for speaking your mind and sharing your valuable insights. It has certainly enriched our understanding about the theme of the session. Now, ladies and gentlemen, yes, it's a time to welcome the UNESCO chair revered Professor Dr. Vishwanath Karad, sir, founder and chief patron, MIT Pune, to deliver a presidential address. Over to you, sir.
फ्रेंड्स, मैं आभारी हूँ उषा दीदी का, दीपक रानडे, हमारी बहन सहस्रबुद्धे, and my friend Jayant Khandare too, and all the members sitting on the dais. ये जर्नी शुरुआत हुई understanding the essence and philosophy behind the words like consciousness and reality. अंतिम सत्य क्या है? What is the Almighty God, the concept? मैं ज़्यादा नहीं बोलूँगा, लेकिन the great philosopher saint of India, I repeat, Sant Dhaneshwara at the age of 16, the very first line, revealing the secrets of the universe. I like to understand the real nature of the whole universe. अंतिम सत्य की खोज में उन्होंने कहा, the entire universe is a manifestation of pure intelligence and consciousness. दो शब्द है, उस पर ज़्यादा चर्चा में आप जानकार है. Again, for my students who are very scholarly students, one day they will come and sit here and possibly address the gathering. But at the same time, remember friends, when I said philosophers and Dhaneshwara to Albert Einstein, philosophers, Dr. Albert Einstein. Einstein, at the end of his life, after giving the theory of O equal to mc square, the theory of relativity, you know the wonderful gift in the scientific world. At the end of his life, he says, friends, now I realize I believe in God. शब्द कैसा है? I believe in God who reveals himself in the orderly harmony of the universe and who manifests through each and every particle of the universe. Philosopher Sant Tukaram Maharaj, just 400 years back, he says, Anurenu Thokada, Tuka Akasha Evada. I am the smallest of the small particle of the universe, like each and every atom, each and every cell. But how it can encompass the entire universe? And what a beautiful narration, friends, to understand how this universe is and what the universe stands for. सूरज की बात होती है, एक कण है भाई, छोटा सा. और ये जो कॉन्शियसनेस ऑन रियलिटी की बात चल रही है, मुझे बहुत खुशी है कि जयंत खंडारे जैसा ग्रेट साइंटिस्ट and Deepak Ranade जैसा दूसरा न्यूरोसर्जन, I don't know whether he has seen the neurons and the brain itself. He might have operated many times. But ये consciousness कहाँ छिपा है भाई? इसकी खोज में ये सारा माहौल है. मेरे सामने फूलों का गुलदस्ता है. While I was coming for the conference with my American friend, he just casually made a remark. He said, भारत बहुत सुंदर देश है. कैसा है? फूलों का देश है बोला. Very casual remark. भाई आप जरा जानने की कोशिश करो, मेरी आदत है. ये फूल, मट्टी तो एक ही है ना. Soil is one. Nature of the soil, the analysis of the soil, you know. But इतने अलग अलग रंग और सुगंध के फूल कहाँ से आए भाई? मट्टी तो एक ही है ना. तो अल्टीमेट रियलिटी की बात जिस ढंग से आइंस्टाइन ने कहा, श्रोडिंजर ने कहा, इनका चिंतन करो, लेकिन फ्रेग्रेंस अलग है. फिर ये भारतीय विशेषता है. इंग्लैंड अमेरिका में जाओगे तो फूलों को सुगंध नहीं होती है. बहुत से फूल दिखाई देते हैं. फर्क क्या है? तो यही अंडरस्टैंडिंग है. वैसे अपनी आदत कैसी है, चाल चलन कैसी है. क्यों ये झगड़ा अभी बात हुई कि भाई गुस्सा करना है क्या नहीं, राजनीति क्या होती है, टेंडेंसी क्या होती है, केमिस्ट्री ऑफ माइंड क्या होता है. ये सारी बातों का जिक्र करते वक्त ऐसे लगता है कि तेरा फर्ज क्या है. सुनो तो सही. एज ए टीचर, as a person sitting here in this dome, which is called as the Philosopher's and Jnaneshwara World Peace Dome. क्या नाम है? मेरा भी नाम दे सकता था मैं, मेरा पिताजी का नाम हो सकता था. लेकिन जीवन भर जिसकी खोज में चलते रहे, उसका सही मायने में जो उत्तर है, उसका जो आंसर है, I for myself, along with my great friend Vijay Bhatkar, the Param supercomputer scientist of the whole world, when we started looking at this nature, the law of nature is same. It cannot differ for me or for you. ये श्वसन क्रिया हो, नाता टूट गया नेचर से, जीवन खत्म. ये जन्म रियलिटी है क्या डेथ रियलिटी है? What is real and what is false? ऐसा बहुत सुंदर चिंतन हुआ भाई. लेकिन आजकल हमारे मंदार साहब ने राजनीति के बारे में एक कमेंट किया. क्या स्थिति है तो देखो तो सही. भारत की नहीं बोल रहा हूं मैं, वर्ल्ड ओवर कोरोना आ गया. इट हैड अ स्ट्रेंथ ऑफ ओनली 20% भाई. एक ब्रिटिश साइंटिस्ट, मुझे मौका मिला 1 घंटा उनके साथ चर्चा करने का. Who was a teacher and a greatest scientist of the world, whose disciple, a young scientist, ran away from UK, Britain, and went to China. And he was working in that very laboratory, Wuhan laboratory. I don't know, I'm not a great scientist in that sense. I do understand the mechanism and the functioning of the universe. But he said to me, Professor, remember this one or the virus which came out, and the entire world was behind the doors. The president, the prime minister, the journalists, the major journalists, and everybody, and even myself, we were hiding behind the doors. And he tells me, that British man, Professor, remember, if this virus comes out with about 30 to 40% strength of its own, क्या होगा? ऐसा negative thinking करना क्या नहीं, अपने अपने मन की बात है वो, सोचना है. लेकिन this very subject of understanding the reality and the ultimate truth, the very word consciousness itself, again I repeat, in the words of our son Jnaneshwar or Sant Tukaram Maharaj, they were not the PhDs. They were not the scholars or thinkers of some great school of London. But they were possibly the embodiment of the knowledge divine themselves. ऐसी सुंदर भाषा है भाई मेरे स्टूडेंट्स के लिए मैं ये बोल रहा हूँ. Myself, I am grateful to every speaker here on the stage, and especially Usha Didi, Deepak, Sasrabuddhe Bahin ji, हमारे निकम साहब और सारे दोस्त. Thank you so much, friends. Grateful to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your words of wisdom. Please give the Acharya Shrestha, the great teacher, revered Professor Dr. Vishwanath Karad, a big round of applause once again. Now it's time to invite Professor Milind Patre, sir, Associate Dean of School of Peace Studies, to propose the vote of thanks. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much. The study of consciousness, one of the most intriguing studies, and no scientist, no visionary, no mystic can ever say that he or she has grasped the subject well. And the study goes on. And what a great fortune that in this 10th World Parliament, one of the sessions was related with the study of consciousness and establishing the school of consciousness for understanding the ultimate reality. Such a great session, such great luminaries, and I am here to propose the vote of thanks. Everyone spoke exceptionally well in their domain. There were many, many key points and impact statements, like Usha Didi ji said, Jaisa Chintan, Vaisa Jeevan. Mandar Apte sir said that once you are conscious, then you cannot do unconscious acts like anger, rage. So there were many, many takes. Vishwadharmi, Professor Dr. Vishwanath Karad sir, if you just look at the way he conducts himself, the way he sits, the way he walks, the way he speaks, I think if we have the eyes to see, we can see what is the definition of conscious alertness and awareness. I think that is the goal of life, that we should be like that. Gautam Buddha also says the same thing, that wakefulness, alertness is the only way to God. There is no other way. So I am here to thank everyone. Many students might be thinking why we are conducting the sessions like consciousness. Because it is the dream of revered Professor Dr. Vishwanath Karad sir that the students coming to his institution should go out of the institution with 4 basic attributes: physically fit, mentally alert, intellectually sharp, and spiritually elevated, because then only they can be global responsible citizens of the earth wherever they go after the graduation. Yes, he deserves a great round of applause for such vision of, giving you all these attributes in your graduation. Yes, put your hands together, my friends, for such a vision of Dr. Karad sir. Not many universities in the world has this vision for their students. And so thank you very much. I pay deep respect to revered Professor Dr. Vishwanath Karad sir for giving us an opportunity for such vision. I deeply feel gratitude for Dr. Jayan Khandare sir, our own director of School of Consciousness, for organizing this panel discussion. Dr. Mandar Apte ji, Dr. Deepak Ranade ji. Dr. Deepak Ranade said that the problem of consciousness, the hard problem of consciousness, cannot be dealt only with scientific inquiry, but we need the mystic approach to it. Thank you very much. Being a neurosurgeon, these words really matter a lot. I really are thankful to Dr. Madhuri Sahasrabuddhe ji. You brought a very new vision that family is the seat of consciousness. It is the center of consciousness. Thank you so much, ma'am. Honorable Dr. B.K. Usha Didi ji, Honorable Dr. Ashok Giri ji, Honorable Ms. Anupama Vaidya ji, Honorable Shri Sanjay Bhosle ji, Honorable Dr. Ramesh Date ji, my anchor Ashish Patil, all the dignitaries sitting here, all the students, and everyone who contributed for this session. I am really thankful to you, one and all. After this session is over, anchor will also tell you about the food arrangements, and the next session will be at 2:30 p.m. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Moving on, it's a time to capture this very special moment. I invite all the invited guests and dignitaries to please join with us for a special moment to capture the photograph, group photograph, please. Dear friends, let me share with you an important announcement. All the students are requested to join for the lunch at the right side of this Great World Peace Dome. And the invited guests and dignitaries, dean and directors of various institutions of MIRS are invited to join with us right downstairs of this hall for the lunch. Thank you so much. My dear friends, let me remind you that the next session is going to begin at 2:30 p.m. and the theme of the session is Role of Media in Establishing a Culture of Peace. Thank you so much. Thank you.